actually, organize this IELTS Masterclass, like you all know. But basically, due to the busy schedule last year, we were not able to organize that. So apologies for some of us who were expecting this class last year. And then Miss Timmy Ruth, don't know her, but she just met me on Facebook and she wanted to organize the IELTS Masterclass for some of you guys in Port Harcourt, I guess so. According to her, she said over 100 people registered. So I guess that a couple of people would still get to join the session. Definitely, I know for sure that Nigeria is faced with some data constraint, which means that some places might not really have as good network to be able to stream this online. And someone says she can't hear me. I love you, Victoria. So let me do a microphone testing. Can anybody hear me? You can unmute your phones, and I want to be sure. Someone just said she can't hear me, so I want to be sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. So basically, yeah. So let me do a bit of recap. Like I said, my name is Oscar, and I work with EduPoint. So basically, what we do at EduPoint is that we connect tutors to learners. And so my apology was that last year I was supposed to organize this masterclass, which was powered and hosted by Mrs. Timmy Ruth, I guess so. Yeah. So, but fortunately, due to tight schedules, we weren't able to hold the meeting, and definitely I had to reach out to her and said, okay, I think this would be a good time because travels were restricted, which was the major reason why I couldn't organize the training last year. I did a lot of travels for my business last year. And so this year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, most classes, most businesses have totally gone to the cloud, which means that they are not done online, like we're having one today. So that is one section of service that we offer. We also offer live sessions like this. And I felt that there is a genuine need for people to know more about the IELTS. Thousands of people write IELTS every year. And the challenge is that most people don't pass, not because they're not smart, not because they're not good, but because there are some certain, I call them tricks and smart approaches that basically most people don't know or is not open up to them. And so by that reason, they sort of write it over and over again and they get frustrated. So my job today is to take you through the journey of what IELTS is. Now, I know some of us here have written IELTS before. I know some of us want to write it. I know some of us have heard about it before. I also know that some of us must have in one way seen it before. What I do in my class is that I often tell people that whether you've done it before or not, you assume today that you've not done it before or you've not heard it before, so that you're going to put your total mind concentration to it. So some of them must have done it before. I know some of them must have written like twice or thrice. Some of us even know all the tricks involved in IELTS. Some of us even know what to do in IELTS. So basically, this session is not for people that know what to do. This session is for people that are trying to add to their knowledge, or basically are trying to understand what it is to write the IELTS exam. Okay, so that's a bit of introduction. So basically, I'll just go straight into my slide. I think, can you guys see my screen? I think I've shared my slide. Okay. So, so again, let me just create a bit of caveat here. So some of us wouldn't get, you won't be disappointed at the end of the class. So today's class is basically not to teach you IELTS. Somebody, the background noise is making a sound. So I said I tried to mute everybody so that other people can hear. If everybody is talking, nobody can hear each other. So I've muted all the phones again. Please, when you come into the session, try to mute your phones, or when you're listening to the session, try to mute your phones. You can only unmute your phones when you want to ask a question. We are operating an open policy classroom method where you have the chance to ask any question you want to ask, but we have to do it in a systematic way so that we don't get to disturb other people also who are trying to listen. And again, this program is recorded. So for the benefit of it being recorded, it would be nice that we have a smooth and seamless learning process. Okay, so basically, let me also clear a caveat before I continue. Now, this particular masterclass is not to teach you about IELTS. You can't learn IELTS in a day. The goal and the objective of this masterclass is to transit you, is to deploy you, is sort of to bring you through the journey of what IELTS is. For some of us who don't know, for some of us who know, is to also add knowledge to what we've known before. So basically, IELTS basically takes at least 4 weeks to 8 weeks of preparation. I mean, deep preparation before you can confidently say you want to write it. So I just want to say this, that after my class today, don't quickly go and write IELTS tomorrow and say, okay, I think I'm done. It's time to write IELTS now. No, it's just sort of to just propel you. For some of us who are frustrated because we're writing the exam over and over again, this is sort of to motivate you. For some of us who have not heard about it before, this is sort of to enlighten you. For some of us who have heard about it before but don't know what it is, this is sort of just to add knowledge to what we have seen on the internet. IELTS have 4 sessions, right? Basically, a listening session, the reading session, the speaking session, and the writing session. Some of us might be wondering, what is IELTS? Like you all know, it's an international English language testing system. That's the full meaning of IELTS. So it's sort of designed in such a way to be able to assess the proficiency of someone who claims that he has been taught using the English language. So it was designed by the British curriculum, by the British Council. And they sort of felt that even though some people are non-native speakers, it would be right that they go through a standardized test. So IELTS is not a professional exam. I want to clear that. Some of you always say IELTS is professional. No, it's not a professional exam. IELTS is a standardized test. Standardized tests are tests that you write to prepare you or to transit you to another journey of your professional career or your education, your academic career, right? So that's why we have to kind of IELTS. Okay, we have the general and we have the academic. We'll get to know more about this. Okay. Normally in my class, if it was a physical class, I would love to ask, who are you? But this is an online class, so basically, I definitely know all of you by your names. I can see you on Zoom. Now, what you need to know about IELTS, I'm going to run through some information that you need to know. Don't worry, I'll send my slides to you, so don't bother copying. All I want to do is to listen very well so that you'll be able to ask pertinent questions. I love questions. I love interactive class. So once in a while, I will have to pause and then listen to your question and then try to answer it. If I can't answer it, definitely someone will also answer it. So we're all learning. Yeah, we're all learning. Now, like I told you before, IELTS is an international English language system. It is designed to assess the language ability of the candidate. Now, who needs to study or want to work where English is used as a language of communication? It is required also it's required also for an entry into university. Like you all know, most especially in UK and other countries. Now you might be asking, who is it for? Now, it's basically for you and I. Why did I say so? So basically for myself, if I want to study my PhD tomorrow, definitely I will need to write IELTS. Maybe I want to study my PhD in another country, let's say Canada, let's say University of Waterloo, let's say Ontario University, let's say University of Washington. So these particular countries that have these particular schools needed me to have an IELTS score or IELTS band score. Now that IELTS band score sort of showed to them as a proof that I have a proficiency, in English language. Now, some of you might be asking me again, but they taught you for over 18 years in English. I mean, your primary school you did English, your secondary school you did English, your nursery school you taught English. Even before you wrote JAM, you taught English. Even in your undergraduate program, you're taught with English. Even in your master's, if you do it in Nigeria, taught in English. So how come you want to travel abroad now to work? or how come you want to travel abroad now to study, and they're asking you for IELTS band score. Now, like I told you before, there's a difference between reading English, writing in English, speaking in English, listening in English. And also, there's also a difference between being taught with English language and being able to communicate fluently and coherently in English language. There's also a difference between what I call a native speaker and a non-native speaker. Okay, so the standardized tests sort of bring what I always call it a level of equality, or what people will call the greater equilibrium. You know, the COVID-19 pandemic, if you observe, it affected everybody, whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether if you are rich, you become a bit rich, if you are poor, you become poorer, if you are. So sort of was a great equalizer for everybody, that even those who travel a lot had to stop traveling. Even those who, used to go to the office for a meeting had to stay at home. So that is what the IELTS stands for. So no matter who you are, whether you're a celebrity, whether you are a professor, whether you are a president, whether you are a nationalist, whatever you are, if you need to have to go to abroad to study, especially in English-speaking countries like UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, USA, it is recognized that you must take an IELTS language proficiency program. Okay. Also, note that more than 20 million people take this test a year. So you should know that it is on high demand. In fact, in Nigeria alone, thousands of people write it almost every month, right? You must have known who have written it last month, last 2 months, last year. But because of the COVID-19, for a while now, they have been on hold for the program due to the whole movement of the thing. But what we are thinking now is that there might be online class from home. We don't know yet. That's speculations. We're also hearing that now they might not place more priority on online classes. We don't know yet. Though there have been an online test before called the IBT. So it depends. Some of you might be wondering again, what is IDP? What is I? They are both the same. They are both designed and prepared by the Cambridge exam, which is part of the British Council, right? So don't get confused. People always think that IDP is easier than IELTS, or IELTS is easier than IDP. They are both the same. They are both the same language testing system. Okay, what is IELTS like? Like I said, IELTS is divided into 4 sections, right? Now we have academic, we have general, right? Now, these are different versions of the test. Please, if I'm too fast, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to be sure that I covered all my 40-something slides. It's going to be a 3-hour class. So I want to be sure that I cover as much as I can cover because it's just for today. So I will try my possible best to cover as much as I can cover so that we can have enough questions and enough assignment to do. Now, the listening section is one of those test sections. It is always divided into 4 sections. We're going to see an example of all of them. Now, those 4 sections, each of them has 10 questions, and that a total of 40 questions. You do them for 30 minutes. The speaking is like an interview. The speaking session is an interview. Most times, the speaking is not done at once, the same day others were done, right? Speaking is usually done on a different day, right? The reading, and it lasts for 15 minutes, okay? And the reading is different from academic or general. I said earlier, I said the IELTS has 2 different versions. We have the academic, we have the general. When you hear the word academic, you should know that it is meant for academic programs. So for some of us who want to study, in Canada, in UK, you will not be required to write a general training exam. It will be wrong because you can't use it. You'll be required to write the academic version of the IELTS. Now, this is different from general. The listening and speaking is the same, but the reading and writing are different. And I will tell you why in the course of the journey. Like I told you before, it's a journey. So you have to follow me from start to finish, okay? The third is the reading. The reading is different from academic and general. The reading differs in terms of academic and general. It's divided into 3 sections, right? And then it has 40 questions. The total number of time given to you for the reading is 60 minutes. Okay. And for writing, it is also different from academic and general. Now, there are two pieces of writing also. There's going to be one that will tell you to write a letter, another that will tell you to write on an essay, on an argument, expository, narrative, whichever the case might be. And the other one for academic, for general, could be telling you to write a statement on you're supporting on something or the other. Are you against or for? What is your assumption? What is your advice? Or it could be asking you to, or it could be asking you to write a letter applying for a job or a promotion. Or it looks, the framework always look like someone that is looking for a job in abroad. The same way academic look like someone that's looking for, a master's program or a postgraduate program in abroad. So these are two different sections, right? And they only differ by the reading and the writing. Note that your listening and speaking and reading and writing are usually graded independently. So you wouldn't say because you didn't do well in listening, you will not do well in writing. And so no, they have their different band, they have their different score. So, but they have a 9-band score. So you cannot have 0 except you did not come for the test. Okay, you can only have between 1 to 9. 9 is the highest, right? Now, some of you might be wondering again, what are the levels and scores? Okay, I'm going to explain this to you. There's something we call multi-level. You can get a score between 1 and 9. Half scores, such as 6.5, are possible because sometimes your score can go into half. But universities often demand that IELTS score must be between 6 or 7. I hope you're listening, okay? Some of these things are not in my slides, so these are just coming from my head. So I'm trying to ensure that you guys are paying full attention. They may also demand a minimum score in each of the 4 sections. I'm going to explain this. Now, it could mean that there are some places, there are sometimes you want to work. I've seen someone that wanted to work in Australia. She was my student before another person. Now, the company that she wants to work for, according to her, they required a certain minimum score in each of the 4 sections, not average band score. I want you to list it. There's a difference between average band score and minimum score in each section. Now, if a company says you must not score below 7 before they hire you, even though you get 9, 9, 9, and 5 in one of the scores, even though your average, your cumulative average, some of you that did maths, your cumulative average is above 7 because you have 9, 9, 7, and 5. Because there is a stipulation that you must not have a minimum score less than 7, you have failed that test for that company. That's why you must be very, 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 very meticulous when you're doing your IELTS. IELTS is not something you just do English language. It's a proficiency test. It's not something you just do because you want to do it. If not, you will do it like 10 times because they do it every month. So it's not like JAMB or WIEC that you guys know they do once or twice a year. That if you fail this year, you wait till next. No, IELTS is so easy that one person can be writing IELTS almost every month and be feeling, because why? The person is not paying attention to the minimum score he has been asked to check out for. So they're not looking at average band score. They're looking at your minimum score in each of the 4 sections. University will tell you 6 or 7. Some universities, like in US, will only say 6. In fact, some business school will tell you 5. Yeah, some business school will tell you 5. In fact, Lagos Business School in Nigeria will tell you 5 or 5.5. If you check their admission criteria, they'll tell you 5.5 because they know that, okay, you're in Nigeria, you taught in English. I mean, communication is in English, and based on the location where the school university is, because universities even in Nigeria demand your IELTS score. I mean, top-notch universities like Lagos Business School or some top private universities, before they are going to accept you for their business program, they demand that you have an IELTS score. Aside that, again, there are some companies too in Nigeria, to shock you, that demands that, especially when those companies is a British company based in Nigeria. They also demand that you have an IELTS. They want to be sure that you can communicate. Do you know why? Certain times they might deploy you outside the country. for some form of, job rotationing. You want to go out, maybe for example, I used to work at Unilever those days, and I know that most of the time, some of my colleagues, there's something we call rotational program for graduates. So if you are done, they used to tell you, okay, travel here, travel here, travel here to gain that experience. So some of your colleagues might be in South Africa today, after 2 months might be in India, then might be in Australia. So you need to have at least a how would I call it now? Like an average view of communicating to the next person. And so to say, they require that you have that IELTS, proficiency test result. Where do I take the IELTS test? IELTS is administered at accredited test centers in the world. Lagos, in fact, almost in all the states, just to go online, britishcouncil.com, you will see more information about that. Okay, I think at this point in time, I don't know if I'm talking much, but I will try to pause and ask for any question before I continue. I always want to be sure that I'm not feeding in too much, than I'm also more than what I should do. So do you have any question before I go further? We are still at what you need to know. So we've not gone far yet. If you just joined us, you've not missed anything. We are still at the third slide, okay? And the Zoom meeting is recorded. So if you need to listen to it next time, we will definitely share the recording to you as permitted by the host, which is Timiper Ruth. Credit to her. She's the one that's organizing this. So yeah, good work to her. Now, what you need to know about IELTS General. Now, if you want to migrate to Canada, some of us now, I know if okay. Anybody have question? I was looking for the question. Anybody have question to ask so far? Or any observation? Am I too fast? Am I too slow? Or what challenge do you have? Can you hear me? Can you hear me before I continue? If there's no challenge, we can mute our phones. Okay, so what you need to know about your IELTS or the IELTS you need to write, IELTS General. The general training is for candidates that want to migrate to Canada. For example, some of us, we have our friends and family over there who in one way must have secured 1 or 2 jobs for us, or told us just come over and we'll connect you to a job, right? But one of the requirements they're asking is that you must have an IELTS, score, band score. And so for you that want to go and work abroad, you want to engage in 1 or 2 profession or the other, you can't write academic and use it to represent general. That would be a wrong approach. To be a square peg in a round hole. If also know that 20% of the test takers are usually on general, most people always prefer to go through the academic route. I'm going to explain this, but these are for visa consulting people, so yeah, so they will tell you that the easiest way to come to abroad is to go and study abroad, so I can easily get a permanent residency. That is how most people usually go to abroad and then colonize where they're staying abroad. So they'll tell you, get a master's first or get an undergraduate program, get a scholarship. When you start working, you can now start, applying for social security number. From there, you can now start working. If you become like a very, very, very key person in those workplaces, they can grant you permits. Before you know, you now become a permanent resident. That means you can go in and come back anytime you want to come without anybody trying to harass you, right? That's why most people go through the academic route, because it's always the easiest way for them to actually start their career. It's difficult to actually go through the general route, because before you get a job abroad, you must have gotten that job because it will be part of what you use in paying for your visa, right? They must have issued you a letter of employment, blah blah blah. Most times it's usually when a company is transferring you, but it's easier going through the academic route. But this is not IELTS. This is just like visa consulting tips. You need to know. That's why you have most people who are always going to abroad to study. Now, frequently asked questions. Some of you might want to ask me. Is written actually twice a month now, or once a month. For general, it's once a month. There is no limit on number of times you write the test, but that does not mean that you should be a customer to IELTS exam. Okay, so I always tell people this, because you are, there's some exams you can write more than twice a month or twice a year. Most of the exams, they don't allow you to write them every month. In fact, the level you write the exam will tell you to stop. For IELTS, there's no limit, and I think that's a challenge because they've made it no limits to the times you're writing. They've tend to increase the bar of marking, and that's why most people always fail. And one of the challenges, because I listen to people write IELTS exam and I feel for them. One of the challenges that they faced is that they realize that sometimes they write a particular exam, maybe in month one, they got almost all the minimum marks, 7, 7, 8, 8, and maybe just one of the session, maybe speaking session, they got 5. They now write the exam again the next month, thinking that, okay, they can write the exam and pass. They will focus their energy reading speaking. And when they write the exam again, they find that speaking is now 9. The rest is now 7, 7, 2, or 5. And IELTS doesn't combine results like WAEC or NECO. If possible, even JAM these days, they will tell you if you have written JAM, you score this, you should buy another kind of form to do this, to do that. IELTS is not like that. It's either you pass a minimum score or you write the exam again. And so the challenge of spending 75K every month, which is standardized fee, depending on the dollar change. I don't know how much it is now, the dollar inflation, but it changes with the dollar because you pay in dollar. It changes with the dollar cost, right? So also the pound cost. So the challenge is, at the end of the day, people write this exam almost every month looking for just a paper or a session or a version, right? And that's the challenge. So, which is why I always tell people that in EduPoint, basically what we do, we don't advise people to write, people who are under our tutelage. We don't advise them to write the test if they are not ready. We will teach you, we will train you, and we will mark you like IELTS examiner. And we will tell you that you would not be allowed to write. Yeah, if you go out of your way to write the test and you fail, there's already a caveat that we told you that you're not ready, because we will do a series of tests after training you. So basically, we have a 2-month class. We use the first month to train you, and then we use the second month to do proper tests. So your first 1 month, will be going through IELTS general, trying to know what and what, trying to understand, go through the law of concord. Some of those things, those English that you did in secondary school those days, we're looking at the advanced format of it. We will not do anything like assessment. We will do assessment in the next month. We're going to do a build-up. We don't call it build-up exercises. Give a lot of questions, a lot of assignment, a lot of mock. Now, tell me if you practice a lot of mock and assessment, at least there will be capability build-up, right? So when we now start seeing your scores over time, and it's advisable for you to write, we can now say, okay, you can now write the IELTS exam, believing that worst come to worst, you cannot fall below the minimum. You might not get a maximum of 9, but you can't fall below your minimum if on a condition, because I always say this, to protect my integrity and integrity of the business. Integrity is very key. You can't write IELTS exam even if you are being taught by the best teacher in the world or the best tutor in the world. If you don't practice yourself, please, I want us to write that down. You can't pass IELTS if you personally didn't have time to study. IELTS is 70% personal study and 30% guidance. So that's why some people tell you that on my own, I pass IELTS, because they ensure that the 70% was well maximized. 70%, you already the pass mark, 7/10, right? But not everybody have that kind of brain. Not everybody have that kind of time. Some of you are working, some of you are working 9 to 5. I don't know, for now there's COVID-19 pandemic, the work must have changed. But some of you are in one way or the other engaged one or two things. So some of you are even mothers, you look after kids. Some of you have 1 or 2 responsibilities, especially for the women. You have 1 or 2 responsibilities that you're doing that is not giving you time to read. That is when you now need a guidance and from a tutor or from someone that can teach you looking at your, your capability and ability. The person will therefore assess you and say, okay, you know what? Okay, I think we can now take this class. But if you know that you don't have such kind of brain, photographic brain, you don't have such kind of time to read and understand, sincerely tell yourself the truth, and you know that you're not reading, but you want to write this text, please advise you hire someone. Might not be me, might be someone else. Thank God for online classes. You could stream online, you could learn on YouTube. There are many ways to learn. So, but even when you hire the person for the 30%, the 70% still needs to be fulfilled by you. And this is the simple truth. That's why it pains me when I see advert of people who do IELTS class and they tell you, come and learn IELTS in 1 week. I already know that is fraud. That's a scam. Don't pay for that. This is not university where university those days in school, they call it exam night or revelation night. For students who don't read, they'll tell you that between 6 p.m. in the evening to 5 p.m. in the morning, we're going to do overnight class to teach you all the things that your lecturer have taught you. And people will be paying. I remember those days in school. Those seniors were making money from those things. They know that students were not reading. So they will wait for 2 days or 3 weeks to exam. And they organize what we call revelation. I don't know if they did it in your school, but it is in my school a lot. They call it revelation night, And then you see 1 or 2 people who must have been reading for a long time. And then will now stand in front of the class and be teaching hundreds of people. Where were they? They were not studying, but they want to pass, and they have exam in 2 days' time. Now, those people felt that once they teach them that moment, it sticks to their brain. Once they write exam, it's done. And those are the people that when they're out of school, they can't do anything. They can't teach. They can't even explain what they have been taught. Because why? They just wanted to read and pass. But IELTS cannot work that way. You can't do revision night for somebody within a week because it takes a lot of practice. Even your tutor needs to practice. So you practice together, a lot of practice from you because there are certain questions that when you see, if you don't practice, you can't be able to interpret them. Especially when it comes to reading. We're going to do some of them and you will see them. Example again is listening session. From today, because IELTS is a British exam, the accent for your listening session is always in British. So I advise people to start listening to BBC. And if you love to watch movie, look for British films or British series because you need to start getting into the accent. You're not a native speaker. You're a non-native speaker. So it's when I pronounce the word Matthew, if you're not good with hearing or listening, odds are high that you might not know what I'm saying. And you will need it in your listening session. You will see. You guys would see a session and you understand. And some of you must have gone through this before. You notice that sometimes you don't even hear what you are saying. You're confused. It's as if probably somebody is just speaking something else. But the truth is that somebody is speaking. And funny enough, somebody knows or can interpret what the person just spoke. So it means that you have to develop your hearing skills or your listening skills. Again, when it comes to speaking, this is not saying you should start forming British accents. Be your original self. But you need to start knowing how to compose words, not only in writing, which you will know in writing, because you're going to do writing, but also how you can speak to people. Because in your speaking test, it is like interview, 15 minutes, and you'll be asked a prompt, and you'll be asked to answer based on the prompt. For some of us that don't know how to conjugate words, munch words, be able to speak, start watching interviews. Because your speaking session is an interview session. You see now that your attitude will change. If you are really preparing for IELTS, your attitude will change. Your capability will be formed based on your attitudinal change. The style you're listening, the style you're talking, the style you're writing, everything will change because you are building that up for your IELTS exam. Note this, there are 9 band scores, but the listening and reading section are marked objectively. Now, I'm going to explain this. You know, I said earlier that the general and the academic are different in reading and writing, but in listening and speaking, they are the same. Okay, good. But again, sometimes, or most of, or all the time, the listen and read section are marked objectively. They have options. That means they have specific answers in the options. You can't go beyond it because that is what is in the objective. That is what you're listening to. Your listening session is what you listen to, you write. You don't write what you think. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Your reading session is what you read, because reading session is about how you read and comprehend. It's what you read that you put down in your answer sheet, not what you know. But in your writing, it is marked subjectively. Why? Because you'll be given a question and a prompt, and the examiner is asking for your opinion. So this is what the examiner is doing. The examiner would not use a particular marking scheme to mark you. The examiner already has his own marking scheme. What the examiner is interested is how you are able to munch your words, how you are able to place your words, to use your words, how you are able to make meaning from your sentences, and how you are able to conclude from the points you've made. Again, he looks at typographical errors. So there are so many things he's looking at to judge you. And that is why most people think that writing is the most difficult part of the IELTS session, but that is not. So move to the EduPoint philosophy. We have a philosophy, which is 2 key goals. The first goal is that if we by chance have to hire, if by chance you hire us to take you on a class, our first goal is to help each test taker achieve the highest possible band score. So the first thing we'll ask you is, are you general? Are you writing for general or writing for academic? If you tell us general, fine. Tell us academic, fine. Then we'll not tell you, okay, if you're writing general, this is the minimum you're supposed to score. Like you all know, for university programs, the minimum are usually 7. Most cases, 5, 5.5. Yes, some schools. Just like most of us, we like looking for the top schools. You know, Imperial College. Those schools won't collect 5.5 because so this is what I tell people. Part of why they are standardized school, part of why they are top rating school is because they have students that apply to them. And let me tell you, let me just deviate a bit and tell you the reality of life. You know, when we were in school those days, we used to think that those who study medicine are the smartest. No. Or those who study law are the smartest. No. Let me give you the analysis why you think they are the smartest. Because those courses are usually highly demanded for by students, because that is the only thing that they know when they are done with school. I want to study medicine, I want to study law, I want to study engineering. Now, imagine 12,000 people writing a particular exam for a course in a school. I don't mean just University of Benin, Uniport. I mean different schools. Like the list is 12,000 on a particular course. So, and this is a well-regulated course where NUC does not allow, or MDCN does not allow more than 100 students in a class for some federal schools and even 50 for some state schools. So imagine 12,000 people writing one exam. It is not a case of the smartest people are there. It's a case of survival of the fittest. So because it is a sought-after program, the cutoff mark will have to go high because a lot of people are writing that exam. That is what happens to the foreign school, which you are going to come in visa consulting and the rest. That's not my field, okay? But the reason why most people get denied of visa or your admission a lot is because you apply to a top-rated school. I'm not saying don't go to a top-rated school, but these are schools that they even tell you that if you don't have a 8.0 band score, don't apply to us. It's not as if they cannot collect 7 or 5. The challenge is that there are too many people that is sorting after them. So the only way they can reduce the pressure on picking too many people at the same time is to increase the standard. That's the one reason why most people are not always admitted in their choice of institution or their course. If I bring a new course today and I said the course is the course is, let me just use a particular keyword. Let me just say footballogy. Apology for the error, but let me go footballogy. And footballogy, people say that you can make money. Don't forget why people go to those courses. They want to get a job, They want to make money. They want to be self-sufficient. They want to have enough money in their account and everything. They want to be comfortable and secured. And I say philology is the new hot course now. Just the way ICT is the new hot course now. You will see that the number of people that will apply for philology will even be more than those applying for medicine. So what do you think philology will do? They have to increase their standard. So you will not be thinking maybe they are tough to enter. No. It is the demand, the increase in demand that affected the what? The less of supply. Okay? So that's why what we do from the beginning is that we will help you to achieve your highest possible band. Maybe for you, if you tell us the school you want to go to or what you want to study, look, your minimum score is 5.5 or 6.0. So this is what you need to do. Also, we would adequately prepare each test taker for their life after IELTS exam. So some of you that felt that life is beyond IELTS, you want also guidance and mentorship in your career, maybe academic or otherwise. We have people that can also help guide in those processes. How do we achieve this? We understand everybody have weaknesses and strengths in English language. Some of us, we assume that because we had A1 in English or B2 in English, we know English. No. You need to assume your strength and weakness. There's some of you that can write but cannot read. Some of you that can read, cannot write. Some of you that can listen but cannot write. Some of you hate writing. That's right. Some of you don't like munching words. Trying to form words or answers in your head is a problem. It's a headache. In fact, it's a challenge. It is why some of us didn't want to study some courses that we would have studied in school, because you don't want to start thinking, but IELTS will have to expose those weaknesses and strengths to us. What I tell my students is, tell yourself the truth, know your weaknesses, know your strengths, focus more on your strength and work on your weaknesses. Also, you need to have much time to study for your IELTS. Don't forget that your IELTS preparation is proportional to your band score at the end of the day. It is how far you prepare that you get to know how much that you worked for when your result is out. And maybe the most important thing is, why do some of you want to even take the IELTS exam? It could even be some of you just want to take it because your friend is taking it. Or maybe you are just thinking that maybe one day you might need it. Know that IELTS expire within 2 years. Okay, for now, expire within 2 years. So you need to be very sure that you have a plan before writing IELTS. Again, I want to advise this: be sure that you have your international passport before you write your IELTS. Very, very important. Very, very important. Be sure you have your international passport before you write your IELTS. There are chances you've seen people who pass IELTS, but at the end of the day, they don't have international passport to even travel. And then at the end of the day, they miss opportunities. So I would say, ensure that other things are ready. So your IELTS is just like a completion, not like somebody waiting to complete it. It's supposed to complete some of your packages you will need to travel abroad or study abroad, right? So this is basically for when we put people in classroom, and then, but this is not a physical classroom, so I wouldn't want to go deep into this. Okay, so in EduPoint class, IELTS student gets skills they will need to excel in 4 different modules: essential grammar and vocabulary, survival exam tips, tricks and secret. Classes of 20 to 30 people ensure individual attention. So for example, now we have about 17% here. So a typical IELTS class in our office used to be a number of 20 to 30, so that we can have a high level of a peer-to-peer level, a high level of peer-to-peer interaction between tutors and learners. Also, cultural and accent coaching, real life roles, plays. So we will do a couple of case scenarios. Not in this class, sorry, because we don't have much time. We do all these things in the normal full classes that people enroll for. People always ask me, what kind of book do I need to read? For now, the best book to read is Cambridge. I will tell you why. Because they are like the writers of the exam. They work with your British Council. So if you are smart enough, you less rely on online material, except you trust it. and you focus more on accredited, recommended books. You have them on the screen. Barron's is very popular. And you have to buy the one with the updated curriculum. So you can't buy old ones for new ones. Yeah. Okay, so let's begin. But before we begin, I've just taken you through the journey of one part. Okay, so this is the first phase. We've actually done an introduction of what IELTS is. I'm going to pause again. I'm going to listen to people that have a couple of questions. I've been talking for the past 15 minutes, and I think in the next 10 minutes, I need to listen to people that have a couple of questions. If you have frequently asked questions, if you have challenges, so as what I've said earlier before, if what I'm telling you contradicts to what you know before, feel free to unmute your microphone. We have less than 10 minutes to share those questions. By 3 o'clock, we'll resume the full class. We'll resume the next session, which is the listening session.
Hello, sir. Hello.
I have to mute my phone. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for a nice lecture and briefing. So I want to ask, the ITS, before one can undergo the scheme or to write the scheme, what are the prerequisites? What are the things one needed to carry along while writing the IELTS exam or test? So that's my question. Second question is that what is the duration of the ITS when one pass the exam? So how long will each last before one can write another IELTS exam? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that question. So it'll be one after one. So the first one, start with the last question. The duration in between when you write. Let me not say when you fail. Let me say when someone fails, when will the person write again? So like I said earlier before, IELTS is written monthly, once, maximum twice a month. Now your result comes out roughly a week after you write your exam. So if you write your exam, let's say on the 20th or 25th of June, 7 days after that day, it should come out, sometimes because, it's very fast, sometimes it could even come out less than, but it can't be more than 2 weeks from the one I've come across with. It does depend. If you write it online normally comes immediately you're done. Come like an email to you, but if you write the pen and paper, which is the one that most people always run to because they are scared of the online, it's the same thing. It's just the method of practice or the method of writing the exam. The same question, the same timing, no one is better than the other. It's just the same thing. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. For people that don't have good writing, they can always switch to the online because they make use of the keyboard. And then nobody knows how bad the handwriting is. For people that have good writing speed. So there are always pros and cons, knowing that online works with time. So, normally in normal offline writing, you could write exam that could give you 20 minutes and 10 minutes more to write. But in the online, it's timing. Once you're done, you're done. It's like jump. The moment of time is exhausted. So there are pros and cons to it. Okay, depending on where you think you can do very well. So if you know you want to write online, be practicing now online. If you want to write offline, be practicing how to write very well offline. Now, to answer your question, if peradventure you write, if someone write the exam and fails, person can write the next month because the exam comes even before the next time, the next exam date. The exam result comes out before the next exam date. So that's why you can write as many times as possible. But the challenge is it won't be fair on your own part, looking at the financial implication and the psychology, which I always pay attention to more, and the psychological the psychological impact. Because when you write and fail, it sort of demoralizes you, sort of push you away from your goal. So that's why I advise, if you write and you fail, it will be advised you adjust, to wait for at least 2 months to prepare again before writing again, so that you sort of work on that weakness. Because when you fail IELTS, it is a radar pointing to a weakness or weaknesses. For the case you fail more than 2 courses, it is radar pointing on that this writing is your problem, this reading is your problem. So you have to work on it, but don't put too much attention on it, because tomorrow it could be listening that could be your problem. So rather than writing it the next month because you want to just write and write and write and write, no, you better you step back, you look at your results, look at where you have failed, and then start working on the weaknesses and improving on your strength. For example, normally by nature, I love to write. I love to write and I listen a lot, right? So I read a lot. So speaking might not really necessarily be my strength, right? I don't talk much, except when I'm teaching. So I would have to, if I fail my speaking, for example, I would need to start brushing my speaking skills, but I would also need to maintain my balance on other three skills that I have a lot, so that when I write the exam again next time, and do you know the good thing? If you're sincere to yourself, when you finish writing your exam, you know if you will fail or not. You know why? Because you've been studying. You would know. It's not a thing of I did not know. It's not a thing of you are praying that they should help you. They will not help you. It is marked by a standard examiner, so they don't even know you. So you would know. It's like when you actually go for an exam, you know that you didn't do well in this exam. You know. So you're not paying a lecturer to help you. Tomorrow you now say, oh, something happened, oh, you didn't finish, but you passed. No. IELTS is obvious that if you didn't prepare for it, you can't pass it. So you would know that, when I did this listening in the exam, I didn't do well. I know the part that they not able to do well, that part of completing the passage, where I could not even know what they were saying. So what does that do for you? You start practicing. Or that writing, I don't know, I think you're a doctor, I can see doctor something. So you're a doctor, for example, Dr. Kinika. So let's say you are in the medical field and they now ask you a question based on economics. Because, I mean, IELTS doesn't care which profession you are. You say you want to write exam, right? You've told us that you've been reading before now. You've told us that you can write the exam, Abi. Because for you to say you want to write the exam, it means that you have capability to write the exam. So whether you study English, mathematics, in literature, biology, when they give you essay questions, it is not biased. If you're lucky, it comes in the field you know. If you're not lucky, it comes in the field you don't know. But the good thing is that you have to be reading very wide. Read music, read news, read a lot of writing columns, written columns, read a lot of newspaper, watch a lot of news, especially during this period. I tell people a lot, try this period, focus your attention on BBC News. Look at the way they explain the impact of COVID-19 on the economy, because these are possible essay questions. When they resume, these are possible essay questions, right? Okay. I think I've answered the first one. The second one. The first one is, so I can't remember of the second one. You said
the criteria. The criteria before one
okay.
can, yes.
So the criteria, there is no criteria, like you're not writing, it's not like JAMB when you need to have WAEC, or it's not like when you're writing masters, you need to have the graduate program, the graduate degree. So for IELTS, the criteria is you. How good are you to write the exam? So somebody can want to do his BSc in US or UK, does not need to have a WAEC to write IELTS. He can have a student like that last day. He wrote IELTS, he got about 8.5, John, and by what I mean, that was the first time, you know, but he got his A-level. Those are needed for his visa packaging. But IELTS, there is no prerequisite. It is a prerequisite on its own. It is a part of your packaging when you are traveling abroad. So you don't need anything to write it. You just only need to study and prepare for it before you can write it. You get? So somebody can be in SS2 and write it, but with the person using within 2 years, I know that when we are in school, in secondary school, some of my friends that have smarter elder ones or smarter parents who were able to pay for their TOEFL because the parent wanted them not to study in Nigeria. As soon as they were in SS1 or 2, they wrote TOEFL, and by the time we were writing our WAEC, they already gotten admission to study in US. So while we were writing JAMB, people are preparing to travel to abroad. They were already doing their visa consulting and the rest. So they are preparing to travel abroad. So when they were in SS1 writing TOEFL, we thought they were just trying to rush. But we got to know in our SS3 when after WAEC, after 2 or 3 months, your friend is no longer in the country again. He's now studying for his BSc program in US. That was because they were smart enough to write TOEFL. Because these things are easily written when you are a student because your brain is sharp. Okay, so when you've gone through a lot of work, 9 to 5, you finish school, you've left book for a long time, you require a bit of calibration. That is why you're having this class. That's why you need to have a tutor, you need to have a guide, or you need to practice a lot, so that it kind of like recalibrates you to make it to become ready to write the exam without having to face any itches and glitches. I think I've answered your question, Dr. Ginika, right?
All right, sir. Yes, sir.
So
okay. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Do anybody have any question before I move to the main class?
Sir, I still have a question. No? Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, we lost him. Okay, he said he has question. I don't know. I think he's going online again. Okay, who again have question?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your background information on IELTS.
Okay.
Please give us an insight of what we are expecting.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Okay, no problem.
My question goes thus.
Okay.
How prepared can someone be to know that you can pass this exam? How prepared can someone be?
That's a $1 million question. You see, it's like it's like telling someone how prepared are you to know that you're going to enter heaven when you die. So it's a factor of how the person on earth has lived his life, right? So if you live a well, holy life, like you live a life of a Christian or a Muslim, of which any of you are, you know that when you die, you go to heaven, you go to the afterlife, right? So the only way I can answer that question sincerely and pragmatically is that the level of your preparation. I know it still sounds cumbersome because the next thing you ask me now is that how much are you prepared? So that's the next thing you're going to ask now. How much do one know is well prepared? So the level of preparation simply means that you've been doing a couple of tests and mocks. That's why I said there will be a time where the lecturer will just teach you normal class. And I'm sure you are like one of our new students. From your voice sounds familiar also. So we've not started our class, but there will be a time where you would start a normal class. Now, after starting a normal class, that 1 month, sometimes it might not even be up to 1 month. If you don't know how fast that person is, we've seen people who've trained for 3 months because they are slow to learn it. People are different. They are different learning speed. So I can't just, that's why I always prefer the one-on-one class, because I can't just say, okay, you know what? I know you went to school. I know you are working. I know you are doing this. I know you are doing that. But I didn't know how you were able to get all of this job, all of this, how you were able to pass your certificate. And so me assuming for you that you can just write the exam and pass, it's a false way of advising you, right? So for me, the surest way or the seamlessly truthful way to tell you that, Mrs. Omotayo, you can write this exam is to tell you to prepare. Now, prepare means that on your own, you are reading, even though you have a tutor. Because the truth is, when you rely so much on a tutor, don't forget that the tutor too is a human being, not a robot. He doesn't know your typical challenges. He doesn't know everything about you. Again, your tutor might not know your grade limit. Maybe when he's teaching you, you act as if everything is fine. And within you have this feeling that you are not still at your best. So you need to personalize your own self first and say, okay, you know what? I want to practice at least 2 hours a day, in addition to what this guy will teach me twice a week or 3 times a week. In fact, it gives you a basis of interaction or interactive learning between you and your tutor. Because you see, let me tell you, I used to have this student in my class, a female. You know, she prepares a lot. I think I've told that story in my last masterclass. She comes to the office center maybe an hour before the session. She's always prepared. In fact, she had to resign from her banking job because it wasn't going to work. When she told me she was, I said, it's not going to work. It's either you take a leave. As soon as she got her visa and everything, she didn't bother returning again. She just traveled abroad because everything was set. Now, if she was a banker, it would have been easy for her to be doing 9 to 5 after going through the traffic and then coming back to come and learn. It wouldn't be possible. She doesn't even have time to study. So she had to just take at least 1 month. I guess so. And what she does is that an hour before my class, she comes to the class, she reads, and when I'm teaching, she has boundless questions to answer. I always tell my students, you have questions to answer because you are studying. So you can see that when you are answering questions, somebody is answering your question, is clearing your doubts, is asking your challenges, is solving your challenges, is solving your problems, you would know from analysis that this is exactly, because sometimes you might on your own take up mock exams online. And you see that when you started taking this mock exam, you were getting 2 over 10, 10 over 50. But now you're getting 20. Sometimes you drop to 5. Sometimes you come to 15. Sometimes you drop to 10. Sometimes you drop to 30. But there will be some times when you'll be maintaining, you know, the way they are, you know, in COVID-19, they call it flattening of the curve. The point where, you know, you get to a point where you can't come below the average. You are just on that curve where you can't come to 10, you can't come to 30, you are scoring 35 over 40, 35 over 40, 36 over 40, sometimes 40, 40, sometimes 32 over 40. So that point, you know that if you are getting B, 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 A, B, B, when you write IELTS, you can't come to C. If you come to C, something went wrong. Either you are not prepared or maybe you didn't deeply prepare for yourself. But you are far, far better than somebody that didn't practice at all. You just listen to a master class, you don't attend the program, you not study, you just look at, this is just English now. It's just English. Let me just go and learn English. It's just English, I'll be English language. Everybody can speak English now. Let me just go and do it. And the person go and do it. And the person gets 0 or 2. The person will say, oh, these people, they are very, very fraudulent. They want people to fail. No. People who give the exam are not people that mark the exam. It's a standard exam. And mind you, not only one marker marks the exam. They have different sets of people that marks the exam. So it's just like in university, if a junior staff finish marking, it gives to a senior staff to oversee what the person has marked. So it is not designed to fail people. People fail themselves because they always assume. That's the first point of failure. When you assume it is English, that is the problem with most people. I've always made them. That's why most people don't enroll for classes. Then it's just English now. Maybe it's not English. I can read and write English now. It is far, 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 far from the normal English you did in your O level. Okay? I think I've answered the question, Mrs. Omotayo.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. We have 18 people. I think we are progressing. So where we are now, we are in listening section. Okay? Now, what do you know about the listening section? Now, you will listen to 4 different recordings and answer 40 questions. This test takes approximately 30 minutes. I'm going to give you some tricks to listening because you see, you know, I told you before that people just fail because they don't have information. Somebody say, my people perish because they lack knowledge in the Bible, right? So sometimes people fail because they don't have information. And especially in the listening, which I'm going to share with you shortly, you will only hear the audio once. I'm going to play the audio when we're doing our case study. Note this, there are 4 different recordings. Each of the recordings have 10 questions to answer. This test takes approximately 30 minutes. Okay? Now, you will also hear the audio once. The last masterclass I did, I had to play the audio more than 3 times. It was a preparatory class, so just imagine. In fact, it was even almost 4 times because some people say they could not hear. In fact, they were not hearing what they were saying. So you can see why practice needs to come in. For you to get used to the British accent, talking on the microphone, from the audio, you need to must have conditioned your ear to understand their accent. That's why I said you should focus on listening to British accent. The fastest way to listen to British accent is basically BBC News. That's the fastest way. That's the easiest way to listen to it. Or when you go online, you start playing British accent videos. Or there are videos online that can prepare you. The reason why you are doing this is because so that at least when the listening session is on, you can be able to answer them because the audio is programmed to play once. After that, it goes to the next session. A variety of voices and native speakers' accents are also used. Sometimes there could be a conversation between a British woman and an Indian man. So don't confuse yourself that it must always be British. Sometimes they also use non-native speakers and native speakers. You will hear the conversation and monologues. What's a monologue? Some of you know what a monologue is, right? When somebody is just talking, one speaker. We have dialogue, 2 people talking, okay? We have monologue, right? Now, the topic ranging from everyday social to academic issues. See why I said pay attention to the latest news because that is where they get their essay question from or their listening session from. They use what happens to you every day. So they relate it to your life every day so that you can be able to at least answer. It's not a case of them telling you chemistry and biology. You get, okay? So and your everyday life experience with what you are learning. You will hear the conversation and monologue with topic ranging from everyday social and academics. So whether you are in academic world or in the social world or in general world, this will be used as a case of conversation. Note that there are different kinds of questions to answer in the IELTS test. There is usually what we call multiple choice, which is what some of you know. Multiple choice is when you have multiple objectives that complete a particular sentence. There's usually called form completion. This one is the one that is a bit difficult because when you do not understand what they are saying, you don't even know how to complete that sentence because you need to use the exact word that's been said or has been pronounced by the speaker. We also have note completion, we have summary completion, we have sentence completion, we have short answers question. Note that candidates for IELTS academic and general both do the same listening test. Okay, what are the listening tips? Some of you want to ask me. So people love tips, people like shortcuts. There's no shortcut to life, there's just only tips and tricks. Read the instructions and questions carefully before you listen. I repeat, read the instructions and questions carefully before you listen. Try to get an idea of the situation. I call it situational analysis. Somebody's talking in the background. Please, can you mute? We're in class. Okay, I tried to mute you. Okay. Let me recap because I know some of us didn't get that. Listening tips. The first one, read the instructions and questions carefully before you listen. Try to get an idea of the situation of what you have listened to or of what you have read. Now, it is called situational analysis. Who are the speakers? Where are they? Why are they speaking? These are the things you'll be asking yourself when you are listening. Remember, you will hear this audio once. you will need to read and listen at the same time. Can I recap that? You will hear the audio once. You will need to read, write, and listen all at the same time. Don't forget that you look for signpost words. I'm going to show you what the signpost words is, such as however, although, finally. This will help you to anticipate what the speaker is trying to say. Am I confusing anybody here? Some of you will be wondering, how come this thing is this guy here? See, it's a thing of practice. Okay, when you practice these things, sometimes you can even form your notes yourself. You know, so I quickly flip to the chat session before I go into a deeper tips. Somebody is saying, I can hear you. Okay, welcome to class. Okay, somebody say, I have a question. Do I need IELTS to study in Germany or Netherlands since Dutch is an official language? No, I don't think, but it depends. Depends on the school, but I don't think you need. There's a, I think for some school, I'm not a visa consultant, but I know that for some schools abroad, in some non-English speaking countries, you will need to at least study their language for either 6 months or 1 year. For I know for in Korea, if your master's is a year, you use your first 6 months or 1 year to do Korean language, you know, so that you can be able to understand IELTS. Some schools in Germany can even teach in English. So you need to know the kind of university. So before you choose a university in Germany, you need to know what is their method of teaching. Some schools in Poland teach it in English. So they will tell you that you don't need to write any form of proficiency language. All you need is just to apply for admission. They grant you the scholarship or they grant you the admission. You get your visa and then you can now start your. Also note again that most schools are not taking people now from abroad. Now most schools are going online. I hope you guys know that. I'm going to explain that after the class. So if you get admission to studying abroad this year, you probably might not be traveling out. You might be pushed into the online category, but that's not why we are here, okay? But just to say that you might not need to study or write the IELTS proficiency test to study in Germany, except the school specifies in their requirement. Okay. Now let's go common mistakes. Common mistakes. So I just feel to share this out. You know, initially I explained that listening has 4 sections. Before each section, you will hear some instructions and there will be some time to look at the questions. The recording will play when you need to listen to and to write down your answers. So at the end of the listening, you must write the answers in your answer sheet. The answer sheet, I hope you guys know that. I will share the answer sheet template with you. So after the class then, this is where people make a lot of mistakes. When they choose to copy their answers during the time they are given before each section begins. I saw this in my last class, even in my, not master class, in the normal physical class. It's a very big mistake because that time is for you to focus while the reading of the question, which is the new one, is about to begin. This is where you try to know what is coming. And let me explain this. When you are giving your listening exercises, you've seen the question. You are not allowed to write when you are listening. You are allowed to look at the questions and then try to envisage that when this thing is being played, what are you expecting? This is not the time for copying answers because you'll be given 10 minutes to copy all your answers. And that is why after when this 10 minutes is given to copy the answers, people have wasted times because they have copied the answer before the 10 minutes was given to them. So they often distract themselves. And therefore, this will definitely affect your scores. I repeat, when you are doing the listening, before the listening of the audio begins, take some few minutes to understand where, why, who is talking, what are they talking, why are they saying what they are saying, to whom is the communication going to, what is the essence of the communication. Now, more importantly, when the audio starts, you are trying to link with your eye, you're trying to link your answers to the question as the voice or the audio is playing. It is not the time to write your answers, because if you write your answers, you'll be confused. Don't forget that you are not listening to an accent you are conversant with. You are listening to a sort of strange accent. So you need to pour your heart. That's why they will give you an headset. Wear an headset, okay? Like an earphone, wear it. So it's not like in the class they play another. No, you wear an headset. So it's a personalized form of test. So you'll be able to listen. But the challenge is that the audio will be played once. The first section will be a conversation between two people about a general topic. Second section will be a monologue. One person is talking about a general topic. The third section will be a conversation of two people about an academic topic. The fourth section will be a monologue about an academic topic. Listening. In almost all academic centers, listening is done first. I don't know why, but I think it is best done first due to its peculiarities. Okay. So that is one of the reasons why it is being done first. So I'm going to do a case study and expect some of us to answer the question if we can, right? But before then, let us go back to certain tips. Listening takes 40 minutes, 30 minutes of listening, and 10 minutes to transfer your answers to your question. Okay, so let's see a case study. Are we all set for case study? Okay. So I'm going to share a screen. I just have to pop out this. Let me share another screen. Please permit me to share another screen. I want us to have our earphones in our ears, and nobody should please unmute their phone, because in listening session, distraction can cause you not to know what you're doing, right? Okay, so I'm going to share a screen. Okay, so can you see the screen? IELTS listening part 2. Can you see that?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Okay, good. So I'm going to play a session. The count of 3, I'm going to play it, and then I advise that we pay attention to it, right? Okay. If you can't hear me, please, if you can't hear the audio talking, please let me know on time. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Hello?
Hello, I can't hear.
You can't hear?
Yeah.
I can hear too.
Okay, good. Okay, I know why I can hear. I know why I can hear. I'm using my headphone. Okay, I know why I can. I'm using my. So that's why I asked you guys. Let me know if you can hear or not. Okay, sorry for that. I'm going to unplug my headphone so for you guys to hear. Okay.
Okay.
Can you guys hear now?
No.
No.
Why are you guys hearing before I put my headphone? You can't still hear?
Oh, we couldn't hear. Still the same thing.
Still the same.
Okay, okay, I'm coming. I don't know why it's happening like so. I'm coming. So I'm coming. Let me try to fix it. Okay, come in. So I'm going to play. Somebody noise. There's a noise at the background. Somebody's phone is making a noise. Okay, are we set?
Oh.
Are we set?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to use another media player to play. You guys will hear now. Definitely, you guys will hear now. I'm using another media to play. This one is a bit louder. So I'm going to share the screen now, and then I will play this. 1, 2, go.
Unit 5, page 62. Listening. IELTS practice. Questions 1 to 5. You will hear a telephone conversation about a job vacancy. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Top Job Employment Agency. Ellen Sykes speaking. How can I help you?
Good morning. My name's Steve Collins and I'm calling about the call centre job advertised in today's paper.
For an operative handling credit card inquiries?
Yes, that's right. The wages and working conditions are all in the ad. So what I'd like to know now is what the work actually consists of. I should explain that I'm a student looking for a summer job, not long-term employment.
That's okay. The people at Intercard say they've always found students to be honest, which of course is essential in this line of work, and they have the basic IT skills needed there. Apparently, there have been a few who didn't find it easy to get there on time in the morning, but in most cases their punctuality is as good as anybody else's. Anyway, about the work. And I know a bit about this because, as it happens, I've worked there myself.
Really?
Yes, for about a year. You'd find that most callers would be people wanting to check the balance on their cards, query payments made, and so on.
And for those who've had their cards stolen?
No, they ring another number for that, an emergency line. People also call that number if they lose their cards.
And what are most callers like? I mean, what kind of people are they?
All sorts, really. All ages, every kind of background. Though one definite trend is the change in the number of women. Nowadays, they make up around 55% of the total, whereas years ago, there used to be a majority of men calling. At one time, I heard, as many as 3/4 of all credit cards were actually held by men, but that must have been long before I was there.
It's certainly different now. So to do this job, what sort of experience do I need?
None, really. Have you got a credit card yourself?
Yes, I have.
Then you probably know quite a bit about them already. And as a student, you're obviously intelligent, which of course you need to be for the job. So after a day or so working with an experienced operative, I'm sure you'll have picked up enough to deal with routine inquiries, which of course most of them are.
But there are bound to be questions I can't deal with, at least at first. What happens then?
In that case, you can ask a supervisor. They're very helpful to new staff.
I think I like the sound of this. What do I do next?
Okay. Did you guys hear the audio?
Yes, sir.
Did you all?
Yes, sir.
You heard the audio, right?
Yes, sir.
Can anyone interpret what he or she learned from the audio before trying to answer the question? Hello? 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 Hello?
We are with you.
Yeah, I was asking, what did we understand from the audio? I'm not saying tell me the answer. What did we, did you hear anything like what they were saying? Were you familiar with the kind of thing they were saying?
To me, I heard a little of what they were saying.
Okay, so you didn't struggle, or you struggled with what they were saying?
Actually struggled.
Struggled. Okay, that's
Yes.
because is this your first time of listening to IELTS audio?
Yes, this is my first time.
So it's normal. I would be amazed if you had told me that you didn't struggle to understand what they were saying. So you now understand why you need to actually practice by listening and listening to a lot of the audios, right? It comes in audios, not in pictures like that. You get that picture you saw there is a question paper, right? This is like
the
exactly.
Asking the man called to do or something like that.
Yeah. So basically, sometimes it comes in a pictorial form like this. Sometimes it comes in a not pictorial, like the one we're about to do that people didn't get to hear. I don't know why, maybe because the volume. It's a typical IELTS exam. You don't see anything like pictorial, like picture, right? It comes, you just click the audio, it plays, and then you fill in the spaces, right? In this case, you are seeing pictures already. The next one you're going to listen to is telling you more of like a roadmap of a particular location, a riverside business park. So did anyone write any answer?
Hello?
Was there anyone that wrote down any answer?
Excuse me.
Somebody's asking a question.
Is it possible for us to see the questions?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was about to ask the same question she asked now. Are you going to be seeing the questions while you're listening to the conversation?
So basically, let me show you this so that you understand what I'm trying to say. I think that was why I removed it. Let me show you this so you understand clearly where I'm going to. So something like this is a typical IELTS exam. Sorry, I'm coming. Sorry, I'm coming. That's not the section. Okay. I don't know why this section. Okay, I'm coming. So this listening part one, I want to show you listening part one. Good. So something like this. Have you seen it?
No.
You should see it now. You see it. So something like this is what you will see on the screen. You will see your questions and your audio. That is why I said earlier, you need to read your questions first to give you an understanding of what your audio will look like. Some of you will just quickly click the audio and start waiting for the answer. That is the first mistake. If you have gone through this question, okay, and then you now click your audio, you are going to be paying attention to what they want you to say. Like this particular question now is about filling the blank spaces. Something is telling me now that 2 hours from somewhere, I need to know where the 2 hours is from. Something is telling me here now that there's a course content. Is it going to be writing and reading or writing and listening? I don't know. Name of the course. So I should be looking for what's the name of the course in the passage I will listen to. I should be looking at the length of that course, the cost of that course. I should be looking at where they're talking about course content, what I will learn in day 1, day 2, day 3. Do you get the point? And I should know the location or the next course date. More importantly, I should know the name of the caller and his address and his email. Once I have these things in my head, those are what I call prompts. Not before, I told that in listening, you have to look at what you are listening, why you are listening, where you are. This thing comes as a prompt question when you are reading the questions. So as soon as you play the audio, you are on your mark, get set, go. So you are filling the questions in your head. You are filling the answers in your head. But you are not allowed to write your answers. Once you start writing your answers in all of these things, you get confused. Because there are some times where the audio does not go in synchrony or in sequence as the question comes. So it's for you to listen first to fill in your spaces. Then you'll be given 10 minutes to fill in your answers. Do you understand? Do you understand? In some cases, let me share the last screen. In some cases, you have something like this. It's not different. This part is where you click the audio, right? This earphone you see here. Once you click the audio, this is where now plays. So this is multiple choice. You know, I told us something. If we were, I said the questions divided into some sections. There are some sections that are completing the spaces. Some are multi-choice. Some are not completion. I said it earlier before that the listening session divided into different sections. This is a session of multiple choice. So you are seeing options. You are seeing your answers. It's left for you to be able to correlate what Steve phones the agency to find about relates to in any of the options in the passage. But in that one I showed you before now, it is called sentence or note completion or filling the gap. So you are supposed to fill in the gap, your answer by yourself without seeing the option, because there'll be no option based on what you have heard. So there are different sections. So a section is multiple choice. Last section is filling the gap. Last section is note completion, and so on and so forth like that. That was why I explained all the framework of listening in the beginning. Did you get? Are we still confused? Like I said,
I understand now.
Like I said, you will not be able to grab full information. This masterclass is to open your understanding, take you through the journey. You may not be able to understand it now. You need to practice, you need to be taught, you need to understand it, you need to frequent yourself with it. You know how the pattern works. It's like pattern. You want to sew a cloth, you already draw a framework, right? I'm not a tailor or a fashion designer, but I know that before you start swinging the machine or start using the machine, you must have a diagram in your head. You must have a pattern in your head. If you start sewing without a pattern, you make mistakes. So don't put the cart before the horse, right? So the horse must come before the cart. So that point where you have been practicing, you have been seeing different strings or different types of questions, you will not be able to know that you're my section 1. Question 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 is multiple choice. Question 10 to 20 is note completion. Question 10 to 30 is, don't forget, you're going to do 40 of these. So you have 4 sections. One section, what I was getting people to ask me is that, were you listening to a monologue or to a dialogue or to a conversation?
A dialogue.
That was a dialogue. That you have 2 people, there's a conversational call. 2 people were making call. There will be a time when one person will just be saying something. That's a monologue. So one person is just talking. Okay, so that is all this one is all about. So I'm going to play the next session. I think question 6 to 10. Then we can now look for the answers, and then we can now move to the next.
Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10. Can you get over there?
Because it's not my.
Definitely, yes. Whereabouts? At the park. Do you know it? Yes, I've been there once. How do you usually travel? By bus. Right. So you take either the 136 or 137 to the bus station, and when you come out of there, you turn right. Along Orchard Road, that is. The road to the railway station? Yes, that's right. You go past the petrol station next to the car dealers, then carry on down the road. Do I take the first left at the main car park? Well, you could do that and walk up Newfield Avenue alongside the shopping centre, but it's a long way round. I'd suggest continuing along Orchard Road with the water company and then the insurance offices on your right. They used to be local government offices, by the way. Yes, I remember those. And you keep going until you reach the advertising agency. Now, facing that is a small road called Cherry Lane. There's a newspaper office on the corner, and opposite that is a big hotel, so you can't miss it. And how far down that road is it? Well, they aren't actually in Cherry Lane. You walk as far as the next junction and turn right
Can you guys understand what you are saying? Hello?
The audio was not clear enough.
It wasn't clear enough?
Yes, it wasn't loud enough at all. We couldn't really pick what.
Oh, was it because I moved?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can replay it.
And there were a series of breaks.
Let me see if I can play it again, please.
And there were distractions. It seems some people's microphone are still on.
Unit 5, page 63. Listening. IELTS practice. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Can you get over there for 9:45 on Monday morning for an interview?
Definitely, yes. Whereabouts are they?
In Riverside Business Park. Do you know it?
Yes, I've been there once.
How do you usually travel?
By bus.
Right. So you take either the 136 or 137 to the bus station, and when you come out of there, you turn right.
Along Orchard Road, that is. The road from the railway station?
Yes, that's right. You go past the petrol station next to the car dealers, then carry on down the road.
Don't take the first step.
There are a lot of distractions coming up.
You could do that.
Yes, please. They should just switch off their
alongside the
microphone or
shopping
something.
centre, but it's a long way round. I'd suggest continuing along Orchard Road with the water company and then the insurance offices on your right. They used to be local government offices, by the way.
Yes, I remember those.
And you keep going until you reach the advertising agency. Now, facing that is a small road called Cherry Lane. There's a newspaper office on the corner, and opposite that is a big hotel, so you can't miss it.
And how far down that road is it?
Well, they aren't actually in Cherry Lane. You walk as far as the next junction and turn right into Almond Drive at the mail centre. Intercard is in the third building on the right between the airline offices and the shipping company.
Fine. I'll be there on Monday. Thanks very much. Bye.
Good luck. Bye.
Okay. Okay, guys. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
How was it? Was it audible this time around?
It was audible, but there was a lot of distractions.
From my end?
I don't know, but I was hearing some
I think
noise.
I had to mute some phones. Some people voices. I had to mute phone during the session. I always advise that there should be. See, there's still background noise.
Hello, Obed. I think you were the one. Your mic was on. I said.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But that's why I had to mute everybody. I like muting everybody, but some of you will still unmute yourself, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, but it's fine. It's fine. It's allowed, allowed. So, but just for other people to have, the chance to, listen to the case study, it's good that we actually mute our phones. You are free to unmute your phones when you want to ask questions. But it's fine, no problem. Apology accepted. But let's just move to the answers. I'm sure some of you already have your answers. If you don't have, I have my answers. I'm going to assist you this time around because I know that some of you have not done it before. So are we set? Or should I play it again? Some of you. So you see what I'm saying? You only play it once, right?
Please play it again.
Oh, wow.
Please.
So somebody is laughing. I should
Play it again. Please.
You play it again. Okay. I'm going to play all of them from the beginning again. So,
but before you play it, please mute everyone.
I do that all the time. I've muted everybody again. Look at now. I've muted everybody again. You can see it on my screen. I've muted everybody again. If you can see my options, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. But what can you see on your screen? Just the video. Okay. Probably people can only see just the video. You can't see what I'm doing. So I've muted everybody again. So if you unmute yourself, I guess that's just it. So I'm going to play it again for the last time. I'm playing from section 1, from question 1 to 5. Are we set? Okay.
Page 62. Listening. IELTS Practice. Questions 1 to 5. You will hear a telephone conversation about a job vacancy. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Top Job Employment Agency. Ellen Sykes speaking. How can I help you?
Good morning. My name's Steve Collins and I'm calling about the call centre job advertised in today's paper.
For an operative handling credit card inquiries?
Yes, that's right. The wages and working conditions are all in the ad. So what I'd like to know now is what the work actually consists of. I should explain that I'm a student looking for a summer job, not long-term employment.
That's okay. The people at Intercard say they've always found students to be honest, which of course is essential in this line of work. And they have the basic IT skills needed there. Apparently, there have been a few who didn't find it easy to get there on time in the morning, but in most cases, their punctuality is as good as anybody else's. Anyway, about the work. And I know a bit about this because, as it happens, I've worked there myself.
Really?
Yes, for about a year. You'd find that most callers would be people wanting to check the balance on their cards, query payments made, and so on.
And from those who've had their cards stolen?
No, they ring another number for that, an emergency line. People also call that number if they lose their cards.
And what are most callers like? I mean, what kind of people are they?
All sorts, really. All ages, every kind of background. Though one definite trend is the change in the number of women. Nowadays, they make up around 55% of the total, whereas years ago, there used to be a majority of men calling. At one time, I heard, as many as 3/4 of all credit cards were actually held by men. But that must have been long before I was there.
It's certainly different now. So to do this job, what sort of experience do I need?
None, really. Have you got a credit card yourself?
Yes, I have.
Then you probably know quite a bit about them already. And as a student, you're obviously intelligent, which of course you need to be for the job. So after a day or so working with an experienced operative, I'm sure you'll have picked up enough to deal with routine inquiries, which of course most of them are.
But there are bound to be questions I can't deal with, at least at first. What happens then?
In that case, you can ask a supervisor. They're very helpful to new staff.
I think I like the sound of this. What do I do next?
Okay. Okay, are we set?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for what we've listened, what do you think is our number one answer? And you have to tell me why your number one answer is correct. Is the answer. Steve phones the agency to find out about what?
The nature of job advertised.
Good. That's the answer. That was the answer. That's the answer. He was actually asking for a summer job, not a long-term employment. He says the wages are in the advertisement, so it is not C, right? Okay, so it's B. That's a good one, Samatayo. Helen says the problem with some students is that they
arrive late for work.
Good. Arrive late. Who's that? Toluwashe, right? Am I correct?
It's Favor.
Favor. Okay, Favor. Well done, Favor. Helen says that the problem with some students is that they arrive late for work. 3, Steve would mainly take calls from customers.
It's coming.
Who have lost their credit cards?
Who have lost their credit card? No.
Who wants information about their credit card account?
Good. They were asking about the balance of their credit card. That's good. That's good. Keep it up. That's good. Okay, let's come to the pie chart. What chart shows the proportion of female to male callers?
55%.
C. 55 to 45.
Good. 55 to 45%. 55 for. Look at the color of female. There is a legend there.
They come now.
There is a legend there. There is a box here. that tells you what the female is, which is this. Female was 45 and male is 45. It's there. I read it. Okay, that means we're progressing. I like that. I like the combined effort. Number 5, Ellen says that that call center operative should be what?
FC.
I hope you're not guessing.
No.
Ellen told Steve that at least a call center should be intelligent. That's all you need to be a call center operative. Is there? I listened to that. So it's good that you don't guess. But I like the teamwork. So let's play 6 to 10. So how did we do in the 1 to 5? How is it a progress for some of us, or is it something that we need to work more on again? Okay, so let's deploy another tactics for question 6 to 10. So 6 to 10 is a map, so you need to pay attention. It's very, very tactical. Somebody is on mute. See, can you unmute? Somebody television is on there. Okay, so now I've muted everybody again. So now this time around, you need to pay attention to the map. It's a map. It's not like a word. It's a map. So your option are the answers A to H. So it starts from the bus station. So listen very meticulously, right? Okay, I'm going to play it in a few seconds.
Sorry, sir. Before you start, please, can you help us increase the volume of the recording? I could hardly see.
Can you get over there for 9:45 on Monday morning for an interview?
Yes. Whereabouts are they?
In Riverside Business Park.
Get out.
Know it?
Join.
How do you usually travel? Right. So you take either the 136 or 137 bus station, and when you come out of there, you turn right.
Orchard Road, that is. The road from the railway station?
Yes, that's right. You go past the petrol station next to the car dealers, then carry on down the road.
Do I take the first left at the main car park?
Well, you could do that and walk up Newfield Avenue alongside the shopping centre, but it's a long way round. I'd suggest continuing along Orchard Road with the water company and then the insurance offices on your right.
Which one is this one?
The local government offices, by the way.
Yes, I remember those.
And you keep going until you reach the advertising agency. Now, facing that is a small road called Cherry Lane. There's a newspaper office on the corner, and opposite that is a big hotel, so you can't miss it.
And how far down that road is it?
Well, they aren't actually in Cherry Lane. You walk as far as the next junction and turn right into Almond Drive at the mail centre. Intercard is in the 3rd building on the right between the airline offices and the shipping company.
Fine. I'll be there on Monday. Thanks very much. Bye.
Good luck. Bye.
Okay. Are we set? Okay, so can we answer our question? The routes we're starting from the petrol station, right? Right? Okay. Nobody's. Oh, sorry. I stopped you. What happened? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh. Okay. So where are we? So we're starting from the bus station, right? So so the guy called. Don't forget that the guy called last week for interview. I'm just giving a story from my head. That guy that called for interview, his name is Steve. They have told him everything he needs to know. So he wants to come for the interview. And now here he is. He started from Riverside Park, right? And now he was told to take a bus from the bus station. That when he goes down, there's a road close to that bus station. What's the road called? Number 6. If you are listening. Wow, nobody's talking. Nobody's talking. What happened? Okay, number 6 is petrol station, right? Okay.
Okay, is it the answers that are inside this A to H?
Yes, exactly. Right. So number 6 is D, but you're going to write it in full. petrol station on your answer sheet, right? So it was told that the route was established in such a way that when you come out of there, the bus station, you turn right and go to along the orchard is next to here, the car dealers. After the car dealers, it was has to move down to 8. What is 8? Your 8 is your shopping center. What did I say? Your 8 is your what? Your shopping center.
We've not answered 7, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Sorry. Your 7 is your shopping center. Sorry. Opposite your newspaper office. Down to 8, which is your insurance office. Okay. Can I play the audio again so you guys will understand what I'm trying to say? You guys were not paying to the audio. You were just looking at the picture, right? If I get it clearly. Was that the issue? You were looking at the picture, not the audio.
The audio was not loud enough.
Was not loud enough. Wow. Okay. The same audio I used, same volume I used for the last. Okay, I'm going to play it again. So try to pay attention. Don't look at the picture. Just try to understand the direction. Assume that you want to go for an interview and somebody is trying to direct you. And the person is telling you that when you get down for the bus station, what do you do?
Then carry on down the road. Don't come out of there, you turn on. Do you know it? Page 63. Listen. IELTS practice. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10. Can you get over there for 9:45 on Monday morning for an interview?
Definitely, yes. Whereabouts are they?
In Riverside Business Park. Do you know it?
Yes, I've been there once.
How do you usually travel?
By bus.
Right. So you take either the 136 or 137 to the bus station, and when you come out of there, you turn right.
Along Orchard Road, that is. The road from the railway station?
Yes, that's right. You go past the petrol station next to the car dealers, then carry on down the road.
Do I take the first left at the main car park?
Well, you could do that and walk up Newfield Avenue alongside the shopping centre, but it's a long way round. I'd suggest continuing along Orchard Road with the water company and then the insurance offices on your right. They used to be local government offices, by the way.
Yes, I remember those.
And you keep going until you reach the advertising agency. Now, facing that is a small road called Cherry Lane. There's a newspaper office on the corner, and opposite that is a big hotel, so you can't miss it.
And how far down that road is it?
Well, they aren't actually in Cherry Lane. You walk as far as the next junction and turn right into Almond Drive at the mail centre. Intercard is in the third building on the right between the airline offices and the shipping company.
Fine. I'll be there on Monday. Thanks very much. Bye.
Good luck. Bye.
Okay, so do we have a clue now?
Yes.
Okay, so it was told that from the bus station, it drives down across the railway station, but it's not going to stop at the railway station, right? Number 6 is the petrol station, and then it takes its left. Your left is your right on your screen. Take note. Your left is your right on your screen, and your right is your left on your screen. So we'll move to 7. And 7, he said opposite Newfield is a what? Your shopping center, which is adjacent, which is opposite to your Newfield and to your car park and to your newspaper office. So Newfield is that road. Then you drive down to Cherry Lane, right? Or you can take alternative route down from that Orchard Road down to 8, where you have your insurance office, which they told in the passage that was opposite water company and advertising agency, right? Then you drive down to Cherry Lane, close to Almond Drive, you see the mail center. In that mail center, there's an hotel.
Yes.
Are you listening? Am I too fast?
Yes, no.
The hotel is adjacent to the mail center, okay? And then number 10 is your call center, where you have your intercall. Intercard, sorry, is like a telephone company where you can make calls. You know, in abroad, there are places where they call phone booths, where you can make calls. So these are the kind of things you have to conversate yourself with. Some of the terminology sometimes might not simulate with what you have here in Africa. But you know what practice does again? with practice and practice and practice, you will be able to attempt this. So I think
hello,
just, Ma, yeah, I can listen to you.
Please, please, this number 10.
Yes.
Is it call center or shipping company?
Call center called the
okay,
Intercard.
It's call center.
Call center, yeah. That word Intercard is like intercom. It's like a telephone booth where people make calls. But they didn't explain it. They expected that you should know. You get? Anybody who is concerned with UK knows that Intercard is a call center. Do you understand? So that's why I said British. Yeah, so you can see sometimes the British do not care where you're coming from. They understand that you should have read why. You should have come across this in your practice. Okay, in your practice. And you know, I have to play it like 3 times. And some of us will even attempt to answer one. So you can see why if you practice and practice well, you can answer and can attempt it on one listening, right? So that's where the practice comes in. So I like that we are seeing a practical case scenario why if you don't pay attention very well, or if we distract ourselves, we might not be able to get full understanding of what we are listening to. I overheard Tolu was saying something when the audio was going on. Do you have any problem? Tolu Wallace, sorry if I didn't pronounce it very well. Tolu Wallace, do you have any problem? You were saying something when the audio was going on. Okay, maybe you have nothing to say. Okay, no problem. So we're going to end this discussion, and we are 4 o'clock. We should not dwell on our energy. As I'm going to stop to share. Coming. Let me share back the slide. Okay, so we'll move to reading session, right? Reading session is quite deeper. In fact, I like to make it the last session so that it won't take much of our time. It consumes more time because you have to read and understand. You know, there are different sections in the reading section. I hope you guys know that the reading section tests your capability of how to read and understand. And know that there are 2 kinds of reading session. We have the general, we have the academic. For the general session, which I suspect or I assume some of us are doing, want to get our job offers abroad, I'm going to explain the difference between academic and general, right? They do different kind of reading tests. So if you are doing general, they can't do academic tests. You can't do the same reading for academic tests. For general tests, the sections are 3 sections, 40 questions and 60 minutes. Section 1 contains 2 or 3 short factual texts, one of which may be composite, consisting of maybe 7 or 8 short texts that relates to a topic. It could be hotel advertisement, it could be a topic on swimming. Like I think for the last masterclass I did, we did one on swimming lessons. Somebody was saying, oh, before now, she didn't know what swimming lessons are. The good thing about the reading test is that you even get to know more information because it involves a factual content. It's not just it's not a fiction, a factual content. So they just bring a topic of a particular composition and just put for you there. So sometimes if you are lucky, just imagine who was doing the reading test was a swimming instructor. It won't give the person difficulty to be able to answer it. So you can see that IELTS is not biased. You just pick random topics, whether you are a hotel expert, you're a business consultant, you're a medical doctor, you are a teacher. They just bring different questions from different topics. Okay, so that it's not a biased form of what setting an exam. Topics are relevant to everyday life. Always remember that it relates to your life every day. Section 2 contains 2 short factual texts that are focused on work-related issues, like applying for a job, company policies. Why is it like that? Who can tell me why? Because it is general. You can see that it's not talking about academics. It's talking about company policy, pay conditions, workplace facility, staff development, training, application for job, transfer, promotion, experiences in job rotation, anything that concerns the workplace, because that is what you're writing it for. That is what that reading consists of. Section 3 also consists of longer and a more complex text. And let me say this, let me give you a trick. As you go deeper in your reading, it gets tougher. Section 1 is always very simple. So don't be happy. Don't get too excited about section 1. It's always too easy. Section 2 is a bit complex. Section 3 is more complex. But the good thing is that if you practice and practice and practice, you are sure to answer at least 35 out of 40. Okay, so I'm going to try to showcase one general. Okay, this is what I did in the last master class. I did this swimming pool, Camberwell College swimming pool. I think we should do it again here. So let me share so that you guys would. We did this in the last class. So this is it, right? This is Camberwell College swimming pools, right? Look at what they asked you, question 1 to 5. Now, the tips in reading, let me stop to share so I can explain the tips in reading. The tips in reading is basically following the SQ3R formula method, which I'm going to explain now. Hello, are you listening? Hello, are you guys on? Okay. Now you are supposed to first of all read the question before attempting the answer, before writing your answer, or before reading the passage. Now, the question gives you understanding. Okay, are you listening? The question gives you understanding on what you will see in the passage. So that when you're now reading your passage, you now have a more concrete information of what you are doing. Okay, am I making any sense? Yes, now, remember in our school those days in secondary school, if you just read your passage without looking at your question, you will be forced to read that passage again because you didn't have a specific map direction of what the question was talking about. So that is what we're going to do here when I share this screen, okay? So we're going to read the question together, and then, sorry that my speed might be too fast. Okay, so okay, yeah. So now this is Camberwell College swimming pools. Let me read the question. Now look at what the question is telling me. What's the question saying? Is a true, false, and not giving question. So this is optional. They are saying that the general public can use only 50-meter pool for lane swimming. Is that true? Is that false? Not given. Somebody will be asking me, is not given an option? Yes, if that thing is not asked in the passage. Don't forget that they are marked objectively. If it's not as given in the passage, it's not given. The general public cannot use the 50-meter pool on Sundays. Is that true or false? We don't know. Men would be able to use 25-meter pool on the 1st of August. We don't know. The whole of the 25, somebody is stuck in there.
What do you think?
I have to mute your phone.
So that you take your time and do your more money.
Okay, I have to mute your phone again. I don't know who's talking at the background. Okay, so the last one is the 50-meter pool is open during college holidays, right? Now, so what we're going to do is that we're going to, once you have read the question, we'll have an idea of what the passage is talking about. So I'm going to allow you guys to read the passage. I don't want to conflict your readings. I'm going to allow you guys to read the passage. I'm going to mute my mic and then don't read it out. Read it from the question that you have seen. We're going to answer the question, the passage, right? Okay, so I'll allow you guys to read for a while. Okay, are we done? Are we done reading?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's come to 25-meter pool because it's a one question. It's a one passage. Let's come to 25-meter pool. Can we also read 25-meter pool? Hey! Who is that? Sorry. Please mute your phones. So let's go to 25-meter pool and also read, and then we can now answer the question. Please mute your phones. I always use my phones when I'm not talking. Have you finished reading? Hello?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so what's our answer? General public can only use 50-meter pool for lane swimming. True or false? True or false?
True.
True.
Okay, let's mark true. General public cannot use the 50-meter pool on Sundays. True or false?
Please, can we get the former one?
This, right?
Yes, yes. Oh, you have removed it. Okay. True.
Okay, good. So we are progressing. So we have two true. We're going to mark ourselves and see if we are right. The third one, men would be able to use the swimming pool on the 18th of August.
False.
False.
Not giving.
Not giving care.
False. False.
Not giving. This is a matter. Okay. Number 4, the whole of the 25-meter pool is available to public during recreational swimming hours.
False.
Are you sure? Not given.
Number 4 is true.
Not given.
I will explain. The 50-meter pool is open during holidays.
Number 4 is true.
Are you sure it's true?
It's false.
I mean number 4. Okay.
Number 4 is false. I will say number 4. Why is not given? Don't worry. Don't worry. Number 5 is what?
Scroll up. Let's see.
Please scroll up. Let's see it.
It's not given, no. It's not given.
Are you sure? Okay, let's mark ourselves. You can see that you're wrong at the last one. The answer is true. Okay. Now, why is the answer not given? I was saying about 4 why your answer is not given. Now, look at it carefully. I intentionally want to just allow you guys to just tell me true or false. It's not given. Look at this word. Doing recreational swimming hours. 25-meter pool is available to public. The reason why you think it's true is that there is nothing like recreational swimming hours, but there is something like look at this statement here. Come in. There's something like recreational non-lane swimming.
Yes.
You not agree with me, right? So there's nothing like recreational non-lane swimming hours. Please, IELTS is very funny. The answer is false, actually. But they want you guys to specify, was it actually given? Even though it's false, and you can't have to answer. It's either it is true, false, or not given. Not given means that information is not in the passage. So don't assume that because it's not given the passage is false. That's what some of you say false. Not given the passage means that there was no such word like recreational non-swimming hours. I've highlighted it on your screen. What you can only see here is recreational non-lane swimming, not recreational non-lane swimming hours. Recreational non-lane. Recreational is a different word from swimming and different word from hours. It works between 7 to 9 and 12 to 1:30. But here, they are telling you now that it is a one word. It is recreational swimming hours. I don't know if I'm making sense. Am I confusing you guys? The word is not given. It's not given, right? There's recreational non-lane swimming, not recreational swimming hours. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Good, good. So I think we're going to stop here. We'll go to the slide back. I'm trying to revamp so that I can teach you other sessions. Now let's look at the tips. Sources of reading sessions. So we started by 2 o'clock. This is 4:17 already. So we are supposed to end this class by 5. So I have like 2 more sessions to take you guys. So I have to be there. I have to leave the reading sessions before going to. So we've done cases on reading sessions now, right? Now we're on break. Sorry, leave the break session, not 45 minutes. We don't have that time for break session. Now, speaking session. What is speaking session? You know, before I told you guys that your speaking session, they are trying to ascertain the level at which you are able to coherently and to proficiently pass your message orally to the examiner without having to show that you are trying to learn how to speak English language. Okay? Now, the speaking test consists of an interview with an examiner. Please take notes. Don't believe that you just come and speak and they'll record and then you will go. That interview is recorded though. That's why it's not done on the same day you do your other test. It's done sometimes before or after, maybe 2 or 3 days after, or on a different date slated for that. They will record what you are going to say. So you will have a chance to work with an examiner. It has 3 parts. The first part is called introduction and interview. The examiner will introduce himself, check your name, and also ask you questions based on general topics. Please take note. This will take 4 to 5 minutes. So don't waste time in speaking. It is the most easily passed and easily failed course. Who get 9, who get 0. Okay? Part 2 is the examiner will give you a task card, which I call Q card. Task card. Some of you that have written it before know what a task card is or a Q card is. A Q card or a task card simply means a card that shows you a task on what you are to talk on. They will give you 1 minute to look at the card, the notes, before you speak for 2 minutes or 1 minute. The examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions at the end of your talk. Why, what, and when. This session takes 3 to 4 minutes. That means 1 minute to think of the cue card they give to you before you have 2 minutes to talk, and 1 minute for the examiner to ask you 1 or 2 questions. Part 3 is a two-way discussion. Discuss with the examiner more than the abstract of the issues, or the examiner will bring up an abstract issue. And then expect that you use your concepts, which are thematically linked to the topic of your talk in part 2. Am I too fast? I repeat, IELTS speaking, it takes 11 to 14 minutes, maximum 15 minutes. This interview is recorded, so be sure that examiner will mark you that day. They're going to play your recorded tape and then record and then mark you, score you rather. This test is broken into 3 parts. Part 1 is introduction and interview. In introduction phase, examiner will introduce him or herself and check your name or your card. And then you will have to introduce yourself. So examiner will give you the ability to introduce yourself. That will take like 4 to 5 minutes. We're going to do a case study on that. Also, don't forget that the examiner gives you a written card in task 2, which I call cue card. Some people call it task card. I call it cue card. You will be given 1 minute to look at that cue card. That is where your question prompts are, before you be given 2 minutes to answer. So don't be worried. How would they just ask you to talk about a topic? They will give you 1 minute to look at that topic and give you 2 minutes to answer that question in the topic. Part 3 is when you have a two-way discussion. This is not like a two-way interview. This is like an interview. Some of you that are hiring and that work in the hiring department of the company. Initially, you apply, people will apply. When they apply, they will come for an interview or an online test, right? After the test, they will now have a one-on-one discussion with their line manager, their potential line managers. That discussion with the manager is where abstract issues and concepts, which thematically, based on what you have seen in your part 2, they will link it to the topic that 2 of you will talk in part 3. This will take approximately 4 to 5 minutes. Total is about 15 minutes. So let's take a practice session on IELTS. Okay? Are you ready? Okay. Okay. Now, this is a typical question on IELTS practice question. For example, I'm asking you, talk about yourself having a healthy lifestyle. Please say what stops you from having a healthy habit. What are the disadvantages of not having a healthy habit or healthy lifestyle rather? What can you do in order to have a healthier lifestyle? After 1 minute, you will be allowed to speak into a microphone, and then you should speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Afterwards, you will compare. Okay, this is like a test question. So this is what I'm going to give to you. This is the cue card they are saying so. I'm going to light it. This is a cue card, right? It stops here. In that cue card, they have given you what to say. What stops you from having healthy habits? What are the disadvantages of you not having healthy habits? Healthy lifestyle. What can you do to have an healthy lifestyle? So that means when you are going to say your answer within 1 to 2 minutes, don't you talk too many stories. Oh, you have those 1 to 2 minutes, 60 seconds or 120 seconds. You will be able to say those 3 answers in those 2 minutes or 1 minute. That is on that answer. The answer, based on the answer that you provide, is what they're going to score you with. Don't forget that they are looking for your grammatical coherency. Okay? They are looking for how you are able to align your grammatical syntax together. They are also looking for how you are able to position and also construct your words. Don't just think that you just come and say anything you want to say. They're also looking for how you're able to pronounce those words, those diphthongs, those monotones, those consonants. How are you able to pronounce it properly? They're also checking for how you are able to arrange your words concordially. So you don't just say things anyhow, your point. Some of us, if you have watched some Nigerian stations, they will ask an interviewer a question and they'll be giving you an answer that does not correlate with the question. So you're not able to start answering questions based on your own residual knowledge outside the topic or the prompts of what you are given. What are the prompts? The prompts are the questions that they asked you. What stops you So if you introduce yourself and talk about the healthy lifestyle, and now talk about what stopped you from a healthy lifestyle. Maybe, for example, you work 9 to 5. You don't have time to sleep. You don't have time to eat. You're always working. The nature of your work. Maybe you're a factory worker, or probably you are a fund transfer manager in your bank, or probably you work in a manufacturing firm, not giving you time to sleep very well and wake up very well. So what are the disadvantages of this not having a healthy lifestyle? It's causing me obesity, it's causing you insomnia, it's causing you loss of appetite, it's causing you, susceptible to becoming very sick. Um, Not quite long you are, done with your medications. How can you do to have a healthy lifestyle? Proper exercises, also ensure that you eat very well, try to create time for yourself. So these are what you are going to say within these 2 minutes, not story. And your points should cover these 3 questions. If your points do not cover your 3 questions, you don't have all your answers. Okay? Okay. So that is your IELTS listening. Speaking, sorry. Do you know why I'm a bit trying to revamp up? Because I need to enter other sessions. So I'm sorry if I'm too fast. If I'm too fast, I don't know if I'm too fast. I don't know. You guys should tell me if I'm too fast or not. So we have 30 minutes to go to complete our 3 hours class for the IELTS section. So we're going to move to the next session, which is, okay, I did give you guys speaking tips of what we just did. Like I said before, you should be talking at the right speed. Not too slow, not too fast. Also, your points should connect. Don't talk about Ebola and not talk about COVID-19 and not talk about malaria parasites. If it's Ebola they're asking you, talk about Ebola throughout. Don't talk about coronavirus. Okay? Lexical resource. Lexical resource means your vocabulary. Some of us, some using some vocabularies, simple vocabularies. Don't use what you don't know. Don't speak a vocabulary that you yourself is struggling to understand. You just want to say it because you felt you want to prove that you can speak English. Don't forget, speaking tips is not only testing your grammatical accuracy, but it is testing how you are able to use it well, properly, at the right place, for the right thing, at the right time, with the right choice of words. Also, spoken English should be grammatically correct, especially in what? Pronunciation. Okay? Another tip again to improve is your fluency and coherency. Some cases you can be required to use idioms. This will help because it makes your listener feel that you are not just saying things directly the way it is, but you are relating it to maybe a particular phenomenon, or in some aspects, you are trying to connect it to probably a similar meaning of what the topic is talking about. It shows again that you can use words very well, especially when it comes to speaking. Again, paraphrasing helps you to avoid repeating the examiner's question. So I've been able to paraphrase. Instead of saying, how have schools and class changed since you were a child? You can start by saying, when I think of the school closes, so when I think of the way school work nowadays. So you don't just say verbatimly about the healthy lifestyle that I told you. You don't say, how can you start having a healthy lifestyle? I can start having a healthy lifestyle. No. You can say, with the way you are doing XYZ, you can start living a healthy lifestyle. I paraphrase. I've not verbatimly used the exact words used in the question on my cue card. It sort of disgusts or irritates the examiner. It makes them feel that you don't have your own words. That means you're not proficient word enough. Also, in pronunciation, it can also affect your grammatical range and accuracy score because, imagine you are describing a past tense, but the way you pronounce it, you are pronouncing something as if it's a present tense. For example, I spoke to Jide yesterday. Spoke is obviously correct and visible because it's different from speak. But what if I say, she smiled at me. Some of us, we don't make the ED pronounceable. Say she smiled at me yesterday. That's wrong. She smiled at me yesterday. So you need to ensure that when pronouncing past tense, present tense, future, you need to be able to ensure that grammatically your accuracy is on point, so that when they are listening to the recording, the examiner does not assume that you are saying present for past tense or past tense for present tense. For example, again, you can say I walked home yesterday from work, not I walked home yesterday from work. So does that mean that it's not like you're using a present tense, whereas you are explicit, you are talking more about past tense. This is grammatically incorrect, and it can harm your score for grammatical read and accuracy of your test. We've done speaking cases like I've shared to us before. We have part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 is about yourself. Part 2 is basically about a cue card you'll be given to. Part 3 is about a thematic advancement of your cue card, linking to what they have given your cue card. Okay? And this is done verbatim, it's done with orally, with you and the interviewer. Okay, so we have 30 more minutes. I believe we can do that on the last session, which is the writing session. Are we all tired?
No, we are good to go.
We are good to go?
Yes, sir.
Wow, okay. So again, I'm going to pause for a while.
Please go ahead.
I'm going to pause for a while. I'm going to be open to questions. So feel free to ask me a couple of questions. In the next 5 minutes, I will mute my mic and we'll listen to some of the questions you have for the previous session that we have covered before we move to the last session in the next 30 minutes. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'll be back. No question. Wow. Okay. It means that some of us understand what I was saying explicitly. That's fine. But to me, when there are no questions, I assume that most people are not understanding what I'm saying. Because when you have a lot of questions, it means that you are trying to understand better. But it's fine. It's fine. So we'll just continue for the sake of time. Some of us have tried. Our data bundle has been going for the past 3 hours. Okay. So writing session. In writing session, there are tips for a writing session. But before I go to the tips, I want to explain holistically and emphatically what the writing session entails about, so that tomorrow you will not say we're not told. Don't forget that the only different sessions in IELTS writing, in IELTS general and academic, is writing and listening. Sorry, is writing and reading. In IELTS writing, for academic, you have 2 pieces of writing. Each of them is 60 minutes. Okay? In this writing, task 1 would be candidates will be given a graph for academic now, not general, or a chart, or a diagram, and will be asked to describe and summarize or explain the information in their own words. That's why I said it is marked subjectively, not objectively. You are not compulsed to answer based on the options given. Because no options will be given. You answer based on your understanding. They may be asked to describe and explain the data, describe the stages of the process, how something would work, and also describe an object of an event or an event. In task 2, candidates are asked to write an essay in response to a point of view, argument or problem, responses to a task, either task 1 or task 2. This will be written in a formal style. This is for writing academic. Now, in writing general, it's different. 2 pieces of writing again for 60 minutes. Task 1 is that because it is about working, the candidate would be given a situation and will be asked to write a letter requesting information or explain that situation. This letter can be personal, semi-formal, or a formal in style. In task 2, the candidates are required to write an essay in response to a point of view, argument, or problem. This essay can be slightly more personal in style than the academic task 2 essay. Okay, so let's go back to our tips, right? So we'll be switching our slide back to our slide. Okay, the do's, I call it EduPoint do's of IELTS essay. We have 4 do's. 1 is the conciseness. The first is conciseness. You have 8 to 15 words per sentence. The sentence make a line. You are required to write no more than 25 lines of an average of 10 words per sentence. Should I recap that statement? You are required not to write more than 250 words. Somebody's mic is on. Can you mute our mic, please, so that everybody can understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now, in this aspect, you are meant to write concisely. Some of us, I know some of us write long, but in IELTS, you need to work with instructions. They have told you a minimum of 250 words. I mean, don't write more than 250 or less than 250. 250 within 250, not too far, not too much. How do you get 250 words? 10 words on a line, 25 words in a row. Conciseness is key. How are you able to explain your point briefly and succinctly without having to write too many words or repeat yourself a lot? Because sometimes what causes us to write too much words is that we repeat our answers a lot. This is because of the experience we've had when we were in university. You repeat answers so that you can have bulkier notes. In IELTS, you don't do that. You write a concise words and you ensure that you don't repeat your answers. EduPoint's second do's of IELTS is cohesion. Cohesion means how are you able to talk with linkage? They ask you a topic on erosion. When you are writing, you're writing based on rotational farming. They ask you a point on COVID-19. When you are linking your paragraph, you are linking based on malaria parasites. That's wrong. You are required to link your ideas so that the examiner have what I call a smooth trajectory transitioning from one line, because every paragraph leads to the other. I start with introduction. I start with my first point. I buttress on my second point. I use my third point to give my base for conclusion into my fourth paragraph, and then I end. The next C is coherence. Some of us, we use grammar, we use words, but trust me, they don't even mean what they're supposed to mean. You know, in a place where I'm supposed to talk about pandemic, I'm using the word epidemic. There are different words. So you should know what is pandemic. You should know what's epidemic. You should know what is a disease. When something is pandemic, when something becomes an epidemic, when something becomes a community transmission, when it comes to come. So all of these things are used at the right. So in English, we call it registers of words. Sometimes somebody might be explaining agriculture, but you'll be saying accounting there. You know, when it doesn't even relate to what the agricultural terms mean. So Most people just write because they want to write. I marked an essay the last time, and the topic was about music and art and science. And this particular man that wrote the essay, he was just writing the question explains, buttress more that emphasize, choose which one is better. Science, which one have gotten more impact in human life? Is it science or art? You have to choose one and answer. This man gave me, in every paragraph, he will give me point of science and art. He has failed it. He made points, but the point is not as related to what they're asking. They actually said, which of these, either science or art, has had impact in man? And explain with your point. So I expect him to use science. If science for him has had more impact, use science and give your paragraphical point. Not that in a paragraph you say science has contributed to technology, arts has contributed music. So there's no basis of you answering the question because you've not actually answered what the examiner wanted to answer. The third one is the fourth one is composition. Using the correct essay structure or sentence structure or grammatical structure. These will enable you to be able to create a total understanding of what your paragraphical points are. If your composition is wrong, your conciseness is wrong. If your conciseness is wrong, your cohesion is wrong. If your cohesion is wrong, your coherence is wrong. If all of these are wrong, then definitely you've not answered anything at all. You've just written notes for the examiner. More tips, which are the don'ts, is don't write too many words. You must aim 250 words to 265 words. Don't use contradictions such as don't and shouldn't. Overuse connecting words. Assessors expect that you do that. Don't overuse them. Jump from one idea to the next. You don't link. You must be able to link, and link. Mixed arguments. Always mixed arguments. Like I said before, the man was writing for and against science and art in one paragraph and expecting another to mark it. From introduction is already wrong. So even though you make good points, but because the argument was mixed, when they did not take, when you're not asked to say the mixed argument, shouldn't do contrary to. So that is wrong. Some of us also write in a babyish manner. You have a poor developed ideas and then a bad grammar construction. You'll be telling me that you are still learning how to write English, just want to be sure that you're writing and you're learning. No. For you to say under 8 years, nobody believes that you're learning anything. They believe that you should know how to use good grammar and then develop your ideas constructively. Don't become a clock victim. Some of us, most of us are like this. We will not think of any point until 10 minutes to, and then we start writing with panic. Because of that, we might start having grammatical error or typographical error. Commonly, it's typographical error. Start writing without a plan. Who build a house without a plan? Or who goes out of the house without a direction? So you must not write without a plan. You must have a plan. If they give you a question, for example, how has COVID-19 affected the economy of today? You have to therefore analyze it first in your mind. How do you start? What do you write first? What will be the middle? How do you conclude? And how do you advise? Stop using generalizations. Stop saying all lawyers are liars. It's wrong. A good a good analyst does not generalize things. They subject things. They don't just say everything is this, everything is that. Stop saying all doctors are criminals. Or stop saying all teachers are intelligent. Those things are not good. Because when you generalize things, it reflects an immature way of thinking. Use simple sentences. Don't use complex sentence. If you want to get a high score, use simple English sentences. Use idioms frequently, but not inappropriately. Don't use the wrong tone. Don't use abbreviations. Repeat words or overuse primitive verbs can cause you failure. When you are crossing out too many counsel in your book, when you write poorly, illegibly, say you have a small handwriting. They don't do that one in the IELTS. You don't have illegible handwritings. Also, don't use cliches. Hey boy, ditto, how are you? My momsy. All those things are what? Cliches. It's not used when writing your letters. They are too informal. Don't also make your examiner feel that you are too lazy by using an expression like so on and so on, etc. Example, e.g. That is to say, i.e. That is wrong. You are making your examiner feel that you are what? You are too lazy in how you write how you present your writing. Some of us also love copy and paste. Don't copy and copy your answer over and over again, or don't copy your question as your answer. When you agree with both sides, it shows that you are confused. You must agree with one side. No question will ever tell you to talk for the two of them. You either argue for one or go for the other, or you make a point that explains why this one is more preferred than this other one, but don't argue or don't agree for both sides. Again, don't say because you are a doctor or you are a lawyer and they give you a topic based on that topic that you are working on.
Please mute your phone. No.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so don't let you feel that because you're a medical doctor and they ask you a question on health, maybe that year they ask you based on COVID-19 pandemic. Because you're a doctor, being a doctor doesn't give you enough points to write. So don't sound arrogant in your mind, and before you know, you write off topic, because that might be the worst that might happen to you. So case study in writing. I'm going to give a case study. I'm going to give one case study in writing, general and academic. Let's start with general. This is general. General, like I told you before, they're going to give you graph, pie charts, and graph or charts, something like this and this. This chart is for you to be able to analyze and write it like an essay. So, for example, this is a graph showing.
Sorry.
Okay.
You said this is for academics, not
Hello.
general.
I know. I'm going to talk about general. I'm taking academic first. I'm going to talk about general too. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. I can hear you. Hello. Hello.
Is it general you are treating or academics?
I am going to do it because I don't know
Hello?
who and who. Hello. Can you hear me? Because I don't know who and who are my candidates here.
Do we do chat?
No, because I don't know who and who are my candidates here. I'm doing both general and academic. If you notice, I've been doing both of them together simultaneously, so that those people who are academic will understand, those who are general
in
will
general
understand. I will do general writing. I'm starting with academic first. Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Do you understand?
I can hear you.
I said I'm starting with academic. Hello, I can hear you.
Okay.
I said I'm starting with academic.
Okay.
And I will come back to general.
All right.
Okay, thank you. So now we are in academic. They're going to give you charts like this, or it could be another chart. This is a case of people that use goods, consumer goods. This is for electronics. This is your TV, your washing machine. This is your VC. This is your CH. This is your telephone. This is your video. This is your dishwasher, video cassettes, and the rest. So they are using a graph, 1972 to 1983, about 10 to 11 years, to ask you to be able to look at this graph and write in words, in 250 words, what you deduce from this graph. As you can see, this graph shows the consumer use of goods from 1983 to 1972, approximately 11 years difference. It shows that in 1983, which is the yellow button that you see here, the people that were using TV were more, close to about 100. It could be 100 and thousands. So your vertical represents number of people. Your horizontal represents the tool that they are using, the machine or the goods that they are using. More people use TV in the 80s than in the what? In the more people use TV in the 80s than in the 70s. There was if you are in academic, you are going to do a mathematical calculation on this. So from here now, you can do the calculation between 100 and 8. If you notice, the graph here is 800 for yellow. For this green color or cyan color, it is what? It is 90. So you're going to do 90 over 100. Sorry, 90 over what? 90 over 100 times 100 over 1. That's 9%. So you will now say that TV was consumed in 1983 9% more than as consumed in 1972. However, looking down the use of consumer goods, there was also an astronomical increase in use of washing machine in 1983. You will not do the mathematics again. In 1983, 80 people used it. In 1972, 65% used it. So you now do a math. 65 over 80 times 100, that's roughly about, let's say, 20% increase. So you can see that in academic, you'll be doing some mathematical calculations to get your percentage usage from year to year, month to month, or decade to decade, or from user to user. Did you understand? So you will do a mathematical percentage calculation between these two years of tool being used for each of every one of the consumer goods. Then you cannot give a holistic conclusion saying that you notice that there was a slight increase in the customer adoption or customer usage of goods in the 80s and 90s. You cannot give an assumption. This could be as a result of the evolution of technology, of new technology, or of new education, this could be as a result of literacy or as a result of technological literacy on how to use new technology. For example, now, if they give you a case study between 2011 and 2015, you will see that there's a rise of people using social media than 2010, than now. This is because of what? A viral literacy movement on the importance of social media, of how it can influence their life. So what the academic writer does here is to look at a pictorial diagram like a graph, which is why it's a bit more technical, because they have to do some calculations. Based on these calculations is where they are going to give their deductive conclusion. And then now talk about individual variances between one goods to the other. The same with this one. This was English language enrollment between 2001. In 2001, January to December, how people were able to enroll for English English language. Now you can see that from the graph, the highest enrollment was in July. This could be during the summer. This could be your assumption. Or it could be during the point that people had more time to write the exam. In January, less than 180 people wrote the exam. There was a steady movement to February, but there's a decline in March. This could be as a result of people that failed, or most people could not write it because they have no money. Then it increases steadily by 10% to 160 in April. And also increased again by 30%, by 10% again in May. It steadily increased again for the third time, first time, increasing consecutively in June. And then it flattens at July, which is the maximum of all the enrollments in the year. And then there was a decline in August. This could be that this was when a lot of people traveled out of the country. This was when there was a lot of enrollment for other courses, unlike the English enrollment. So you are giving assumptions. You are talking based on graph. You are analyzing, you are stipulating, you are deducting, you are advising, and at the end of the day, you are concluding. end of the day, you can now say that the overall enrollment between January to December was an average of 200. But an average of 200 per month. You cannot do your mathematics and I say mathematics, let's do the mathematics. How many enrolled from January to December divided by 12? That is your average enrollment per month. And then you conclude an advice. And let's go now to the general case. So in the general case, for general case, sometimes they'll give you two types. One type is to write a letter that you are looking for a job. The other one is to write on a particular topic. The topic might be this, 40 minutes. They might give you a case study saying, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Reducing global environmental damage should be handled by government rather than individuals. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Give reasons for your answer and provide relevant examples from your own experience. So at this point, some of us study environmental pollution or environmental management. Some of us study economics, some of us study mathematics, some of us even study medicine, some of us even study accountancy. But it is of no excuse to IELTS of what to study. IELTS believe that for you to have practiced enough, as a general candidate, you must be able to answer this question. The first thing is to introduce what global environmental damage is. Furthermore, what is the recent climatic environmental change that we are facing? Like you all know, there is a high demand or there is a high call for us to be able to preserve the environment. You can see what happened in Australia last year. A forest just got burned from nowhere because the sun was too much. And it burned almost half of Australia. Because why? Global climate condition. You know, we are now in the phase whereby whether it's too hot or it's too cold. So what happened in that Australia fire outbreak? A lot of nature, a lot of animals from nature died. Currently, right now, they are facing huge setback in livestock production. You know that bee is a high pollination of food. Most of the plants or the trees you see, bees pollinate them, and these trees take years to grow. They were all burnt in a second during that fire outbreak, which means that they are also going to struggle with food, fruits, and more importantly, they are also going to struggle with wood to use to manufacture furniture and other things. So now the question is saying, should government handle environmental issues? If we want to reduce global environmental damage, should government, some of us live in Port Harcourt, in Lagos here, we call them, what they call themselves? Law matter, what they call them? Lagos State Waste Emergency, blah, blah. I know that they have a name in Lagos State, law matter also. They are the one that are into managing the waste. Should government be coming to our streets to pack these wastes? Or should this thing be handled by individuals? What do you think? So I'm not expecting you to write why government would do it and why individuals should do it. You should be able to think about which point is more for you, which point is easier. If you're writing based on the individual perspective, based on the fact that is what is easier for you, that is fine. If you're writing based on the fact that the government stepping in would ease the situation, that is good for you. The most important thing is to be able to be able to write based on where you have more points and more strength for. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you are agreeing or disagreeing. Is it government? Is it individual? Which of them should be the one being charged that can help reduce global environmental damage? Give reason for your answers and provide relevant examples from your own experiences. So you start by introducing what global environmental damage is, the impact on climate, the impact on the environment, and also start on a personal scenario whereby if you are speaking for individual to handle it, then start talking about how you are handling your waste and why you think you handling waste is better. This is for the government. If you think government own is better, then start giving examples or instances why government handling of the waste will reduce this environmental damage in our society. Okay? When you do that, ensure that your words are within 250 words. That is 10 words on a line on 25 lines, which is about 1.5 pages. Any question? Any question? Oh, are we all tired? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, feel free to ask me a question.
Thanks very much for what you've said since.
Welcome.
I want to ask that. Is it compulsory that one should write in capital letters?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it what?
Compulsory, you write in capital letters.
No, that's wrong. That is a grammatical error. You can't write in capital letter.
Oh, we want the big girls.
It doesn't show.
Too far.
Somebody's talking at the background. Please mute your phone. You're not. So it doesn't show. It's not good. It's not good. It's not proper writing capital letter. It's good you maintain proper tense, which is why when you enroll for the RE program, these are what I'm going to put you through in the RE program. So this is like more of like a, I would say, masterclass. But in the RE program, you know, we will give you case studies to write. We're going to show you how to write. So you can't write in capital letters. You can't write capital letters. It doesn't show conformity with the English standard. I mean, it's like your child writing capital letter to you all the time. No, you only write capital letter in cases when you're writing a topic. But when you're starting a sentence, you start with a capital letter first. Then the rest should be in small letter, except when you have a proper noun. Then you can write a capital, because proper noun can be written in capital letter. Only the first word of the proper noun, the first letter, anywhere in the sentence, whether in the beginning or the ending. Because you will need to put dots, your full stop, your comma, all of these plays in writing. And these are where they mark a lot. So in the deep dive of the class, when you enroll for the full class, you know, we'll be looking at how to write, you know, flawlessly, you know, with practice and practice. Yeah.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Please do.
Actually, there are two questions. One, is it that they will give you an option of writing either the general or the academic, or you, I don't know, if you want to choose or something? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. They will not give you option. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
They will not give you option. What they will give you is a compulsory thing to write. They will not tell you choose 3 out of 1 or write this and don't write this one. They will give you 2 cases. The first one is for general, is a letter. Second one is a case study of the topic I just mentioned now. For academic, the first one would be when you write letter in general, academic would do essay, graph question or chart questions or bar chart questions. When you're not writing your essay, they are writing your essay, but it might not be the same essay. You can be writing based on the general topic. They can be writing based on academic topic. So you don't have a choice to pick.
What I'm asking is,
okay,
are you the one that will say I'm writing general or I'm writing academic?
No, it's you. What do you want to write your exam for? Are you want to write exam for? Is it for to study abroad or to work abroad? Which one?
To study abroad.
Then you have to go for academic. I said from the beginning that academic is for those that want to study abroad. So the difference is in the writing and the reading. Then general are those people that want to study or have a professional working experience abroad, or have 1 or 2 things aside academic abroad. So you can't use general to submit for university. They won't collect it. You can't use general academic to also submit for a job offer. They won't collect it. So it is specified. It will be stated in your printouts, in your result printout that you wrote for academic or general. It will be stated there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Then my second question question is based on the graph you displayed.
Yes.
The TVs, MCs, and all that, would they give us the full meaning of those?
Yes, they will. They will. They will. It's because they will give you. It's because it's from me. They will give you actually. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah. Hello, Oscar.
I can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Will you send the recorded version to us?
Yes. Yeah. Once I'm done, I will save it and send to the what's her name? The host, the person that.
Okay, Mrs.
Timmy. Yeah, I will send it to her. She asked me to record, so we are on record. So I will send it to her. Basically, she might do the editing. I don't know. Maybe the part that there was noise or the part that there was background. I don't know, but something you can listen to. But it's a 3-hour stay. This is past 5, so for almost 3 hours plus we've been talking. So, so she might have to reduce it so that it doesn't look too big. So I will send it to her.
Question.
Please do.
If somebody wants to learn more beyond this online stuff, how do we go about it?
So I'm going to write something in the chat. If you want to learn more, I'm going to send an information on the chat. So you either message me, I don't know, but I'm going to drop my number. I'm trying to go to the chat to see what I can do. Okay, so I'm going to drop a message on the chat. If you want to learn more, you can always contact us. Might not be me, it could be the business, EduPoint. The EduPoint will get back to me, right? So I've put something on the message. So feel free to contact that phone number or WhatsApp it. The lady handling the phone will tell you what to do. We'll join into a group, or if you want to have a private session, right? You can always call. I've put my personal line there, so you can always reach out to me directly, or the business. Definitely will communicate to you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
The pricing will be based on what suits you. Yeah, on what suits you. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, but the main important thing is, do you people see value for your time? Like, do you enjoy the class? Do you think it was worth your megabytes? We are about 20 people that were here, but I'm sure some people megabytes got exhausted and the rest, and then you have just less than 10 people. So do you think it's worth your time? Do you think it's worth your efforts?
Yes, so
please do well to check the group. I've just posted phone number. Let me post my email, so you can always send an email to us, and we can always get in touch with you. Please, the earlier you do so, the better. Everything is there on the group chats. Go to the group chats. All the lines are on WhatsApp. On WhatsApp. Yeah. Feel free to message us, call us, and jump on our offers. I think we have offer that is running now. Though it ended last month for the other masterclass people, but I told Timmy that for the sake of, I think I'm not for that, but for the sake of you guys that are coming on board, I'm going to tell her that we can organize those people that could not attend. I had over 100 persons applied. So maybe data issue, network issue, light issue. So I know if people don't apply today, I apply tomorrow. So if you guys really want to jump into the offer for you guys specifically for you guys can send us a message so that we can add you up. Make sure that when you send a message, tell the person you're sending to that you attended the IELTS Masterclass so that you'll be placed on the discount rate. What I just taught you now is what we charge tons of money on, but because it's coming from a referral, it's coming from someone that we know, and it's a masterclass session, we often don't give out that billing. We give a discounted bill. And our class goes for 2 months. We don't do a 1 month class. Yeah.
An online class?
Yeah, we don't do 1 month class. We don't do one. Why do we want to do 1 month class? I've said it before from the beginning that You cannot learn IELTS in 1 month. Don't be deceived by people who tell you that they are revelation class. They will tell you within 1 week to become a pro. They are not teaching you. They're just teaching you as a lab rat. It doesn't work because you need to put your own effort too. When I mean 1 month, when I mean 2 months, doesn't mean every day. It could be twice a week, twice a week, any 2 or 3 times a week that is convenient for you. And thank God for online. You can have your class. I do classes as late as 2 a.m. because some people are not in this country and they do IELTS class with us. Sometimes I do class as early as 6 a.m. In some places it's 12 noon. And I do class as late as 7 p.m. too. So you will have to get your information if you are really interested. And then we will now look at our calendar and now fix you in. If you want to learn in group, it is usually cheaper. You can talk to yourself. You can invite more people that, can come together with. There was a time we were telling people to pay 30K for 2 months. In fact, we even told them almost every day. I think so. None of them jump on the offer, except for some few people, But this time around, it's just 3 times or twice a month. If you come in a group of people, it is always highly discounted. For example, if you have 10 people that want to do the IELTS, people are sure of writing the exam, can come together, can enroll yourself, and we give a whoopee discount. So instead of you paying individual amount, we just put together as one group, So as instead of you guys paying, let's say if you are paying 10,000 naira, you can pay as low as 500 naira. So because when you multiply 500 times 10 people, you can see that it is a bit more higher. But if I charge you 10K times 5 people, 550 people, is also much more higher. So when you come in group, it's very, very affordable because it's the same cost. So now I'm using a data bundle of 3 hours to teach you guys. If I'm teaching you differently, it costs us more. Teaching you is not the problem. Teaching is not the problem. The problem is if you start teaching you differently, it becomes the problem because I'm using the same data I will have used for 1 people, I've used for 10 people. So when 10 people come together to learn, it's cheaper than when you learn privately. But why people want to learn privately is that they want to be free to ask their questions. They want to be free to have that personalized form of learning. They want you to have their time, their full time. So I understand if you go for a personalized session, but if you want to go for a group session, maybe you have a group of sisters together, or a group of workers, or a group of friends, or a group of nurses, or a group of doctors, you want to learn in group, or a group of people that have planned to write IELTS together, can come together and learn, and then, at a very moderate cost. Yeah. So I think I've answered your question, right? Any more questions? Feel free. Okay, so in the absence of no question, do we have more question?
No.
Hello?
The recording will be sent, but the recording is not enough. The recording is like a master class. Some people are asking if I will send the recording to them.
Hello, Oscar.
Ma?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, ma. Please drop your email so I can forward the recording to you directly. Send your email to the group chat or send it to the number in the group chat. In case I can send the recording to you guys directly, or I can still send it to Timmy Perez. But send your recording to us directly. Yeah. No, send it to us as a message on WhatsApp or as an SMS. Some of you are still sending it on. By the time we leave this meeting room, I won't get your email. Send it as a WhatsApp to my WhatsApp number. I've posted my WhatsApp number on the group. I'm going to post it again. Send it to our customer care phone. It is on WhatsApp. And also send it to my email that I can forward to you. Okay? 081777. Oh, I think I messaged to the private person, to everyone in the meeting. So I'm sending it again. So 0817772980, 081393199159, or Oscar@edupoint.org.ng. So send your email send your phone number to the WhatsApp number or as an SMS to that number. Definitely we'll have your information and then we'll get back to you. Okay, any more questions, please? Feel free. And if you want to learn the IELTS class after this, a deeper version of this that takes 8 weeks, twice or thrice in a week, feel free to contact us privately and then we'll shortly get across with you. Want to learn in group, you can discuss with yourself, also get in touch with us. Okay? Any more questions? Mrs. Olayemi, you were trying to say something, man.
Yes, sir.
Please do.
I said tomorrow.
Yeah, no, tomorrow, your class has started already now. So tomorrow, you have your class tomorrow by 7 to 10 p.m.
This one is a general class. My class
this is the master class. That one is a private class for you. So I was surprised that you are here. That was why I was wondering. And you stayed for 3 hours, man. I hope you will stay for 3 hours tomorrow.
Why not?
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious about this thing.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, guys. So thanks for your time. Deeply appreciate. It was a pleasure and honor to take you guys through the journey of IELTS Masterclass. See you at the top. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.